I just started. So the deal for me, the deal is that I have. Oh my god.
You started? Hold on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I have like music that
There
I
we go.
play in my starting soon, and once that song finishes, that's when I go live.
Oh, I see I see. I don't have any of that expensive stuff.
That expensive stuff? What do you mean that expensive stuff?
Expensive as in like, the amount of effort required for you to set that up.
For
it's
what?
kind of hard.
Wait, to set what up, dude?
Music?
I wrote it. It's mine. It was free.
No, I mean setting it up in OBS and stuff like that. You have to like drag it in as a source or something. That's that's what I mean. It's like effort.
It takes all of 10 seconds to drag in an audio file.
I wouldn't know. I haven't done that before. I wouldn't know much about that. Too much effort. I don't know. Streamers these days, they're crazy, man. They put in so much effort for their streams.
Yeah, they'll drag in an audio source into their scene. Peppy, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the sub. Good God.
Right, I think I'm prepared. I'm prepared both mentally and technologically.
Mentally, yeah. I understand that they were kind to us in their early submissions. This is what I was told. Is that it only gets worse from here. This is what my community told me anyway.
So as far as I've seen, the first 40 submissions that we went through last stream, like most of them weren't even sins. Like they were all forgivable, basically.
Yeah.
Basically.
No, I would agree.
You would agree? You kind of disagreed with me last time.
There were some that were bad, but for the most part, I wasn't like my life wasn't ruined by any of them.
Yeah.
Like I haven't been like up at night thinking about them since. Okay, that one breadboard I have been up at night thinking about, but the other ones I have not been up at night thinking about.
I mean, yeah, but we have to remember if it's funny, then it's fine. It doesn't count if it's funny. So that's like the number one excuse of making your sin not be a sin, as long as it's funny.
That's true, dude. I think that if you like construct an electrical hazard, it doesn't matter if it's funny. Like someone could still die.
Okay, but as long as no one dies, right, and it's funny, then
Okay, until someone dies, it's still funny, apparently. So we are.
Remember the kid who went to school with like the power supply unit in his backpack?
Yes. Oh my God, the kid who brought the freaking the kid who basically brought a bomb to school. School. Dude, I get like unnecessarily freaked out working with large batteries. Like really embarrassingly unnecessarily freaked out. Like the precautions that I take when dealing with LiPo batteries, because they just freak me out, dude. They're just literal actual bombs.
I mean, they're not gonna detonate unless you don't know how to handle them, right?
I know, like in theory, but it's still scary, man. Do you not get scared handling them? You're just like, that's a lot of potential energy in there.
I mean, I don't do much handling with batteries. I can't say I'm a professional battery handler.
Right,
but
you're all software.
the very few batteries that I have handled, I can just say, I mean, you can throw them across the room and they won't detonate, right?
I know.
Like I'm talking from experience.
Why have you thrown them?
There was someone on the other side of the room that
you threw a battery at them before you knew whether it would detonate.
I mean, it was a dead battery, okay? I wouldn't throw a battery that was charged. It was a dead battery, and I threw it at them so they could catch it and it wasn't. I wasn't attacking that person. It was more like catch. Like you're throwing something.
You were just playing a very dangerous game of catch.
To be fair, the battery was discharged, as I said, and it also, thankfully, I mean, kind of predictably, nothing happened. It didn't detonate, which certainly means all batteries are safe.
Yeah, it certainly means that. I don't know, man. I don't live that wild. I think that would terrify me. So, global locals, because they were too lazy to make a dictionary by hand. Let's look at it.
Oh, wait. I forgot I have to open the form.
You forgot? That's the whole concept of the stream!
Give me a sec. Okay, hold on. I had this problem last time. How do you actually take the image from the form and put it in your stream? I forgot to ask this.
Oh, I just drag it on. The same way that I added my audio source.
Yeah, but what do you drag on? Because for me, if I try to drag it on, it opens the write a comment in Google Drive.
There's a little
It does
download
the
button.
comments thing.
See, and then you just you drag it from the downloads onto the screen, and then everyone
Oh,
can
so
see.
you download it every time. Okay, that's actually very smart. Very good point. Oh, there we go. I was able to do it.
There we go. Okay. So,
So global locals, because I was too lazy to make a dictionary by hand.
I'm looking at the picture for this, and I think one of the most important things that I'm noticing is that this is
brainfuck.
why. Why?
They also say they're making a PostScript-esque language that compiles to brainfuck. Like, why would you compile something to brainfuck?
I'm so confused by this. I don't even think that the dictionary is the most confusing part. The hacked together pseudo dictionary is the funniest part to me. Like,
Yeah, that doesn't even matter. Like, I'm looking at the brainfuck here.
Yeah.
Now, there's did you write that by hand? Did you write the brainfuck by hand? Because that's a big achievement if you did. And if you're doing your own language that compiles to brainfuck, you must have some kind of brainfuck knowledge here. You did write those.
yeah, I think they did. Okay,
How much free time do you have?
right. That was kind of my question too. I don't think this is a sin, but I am confused by it. Okay. Next, and onwards and upwards. Cheapest Arduino money can buy. Oh my god. Okay. Well, I'm already nervous.
Let's see the image.
This extremely cheap knockoff Arduino Nano board runs at 1/4 clock frequency. Fixed it by changing some registers and configuring it to run at halved clock frequency. Now it runs normally. I mean, I don't think that that's a sin at all. That's just making something cheap work for you. Also, it's purple, so you know how I feel about that. Yeah, this is just fine. Opinions?
Opinions? I actually have no opinion.
Yeah, this seems fine, dude.
This seems perfectly fine.
Wait, other people know this knockoff. That is apparently a well-known knockoff. Okay.
I mean,
Let's go.
Arduino is kind of expensive, depending on.
Oh yeah, needlessly expensive, I would say. I would say that there is very little reason broadly to use Arduino unless it is as a classroom learning tool. But
Exactly.
yeah, you do you. I'm never going to judge someone for it, but I do judge people for it. Okay, how do I
Wait, what?
explain this?
You're not
someone
gonna
is
judge people, but you do judge people.
If someone is like, "Oh, I love I'm learning this. I'm having a lot of fun learning it. And I used an Arduino to do it." Go in peace, man. May the wind be always at your back. But if someone shows up and they're like, "Oh, I'm something of a maker myself. I love to use Arduino." I judge them. I judge them. And it's not because I'm like, "Oh, Arduino, trash. You're trash." It's just you strike me as a not very curious person. Which maybe it's bad of me.
These seem like some political views. I don't know.
It's just Arduinos are expensive and
Yeah.
not extremely flexible, and it just kind of would strike me if someone really defined themselves by the work that they did with Arduinos, that they never branched out and tried other boards and learned how to do it. Arduino is a great starting point, and I would never judge someone for making a project with an Arduino. But just the number of projects, okay, the number of times I've met someone who just kind of never stopped including an entire Arduino in everything that they built, right? There's no reason for that. At some point, is start designing your own boards, you know? At some point, you should be curious enough to like learn that and try that and figure that out. And if you're not...
There is a huge step though between using an Arduino and designing your own board. There's like a huge step between those two. Designing your own board? Like,
Yeah.
do you mean a PC, like breadboard or PCB?
I mean,
Because there's a lot that is involved in designing your own PCB, and if you just use a breadboard, then you're just that can only be used as a temporary solution.
well, yeah, no, obviously it's very, very painful when you see an entire breadboard shoved in a permanent project. But, yeah, no, exactly. The middle step is using ESPs or Picos. Yeah, so you kind of gradually move on. Like there is a progression there, and it's not a hard progression to learn, and you will save money and time. And if you're someone who's like, oh yeah, no, I just wanted to make this kind of project, I used an Arduino to do it, and I'm glad I did. I learned a lot. I've got no issue with that. But if someone is like, I love working with Arduino, I love everything that I've learned doing it, but they've just never expressed any interest in moving beyond that, in doing it better, and doing it cheaper, it's sort of a red flag to me. Like how do I explain it? I would never judge just like a person that I met for this, but if I were interviewing someone, even for like a programming role, and they were like, oh, I love Arduino specifically, Arduino is the best, I work with Arduino, then my opinion of them would be like, what? If you love it so much, how come you never thought to explore anything else?
So, I mean, people get comfortable doing, like, if you have used Arduino for a very long time, you start getting comfortable with it, and obviously you're going to include it in every single project that you do. Because you know how to use it, you have a lot of experience, and if you start getting comfortable with that, people will tend to not branch out as much. And this isn't just something that happens with only Arduinos. It happens with like anything technical.
Yeah.
Like from like video editing software to like anything else, when you just get very, very comfortable with one specific thing. So while you were talking, I did feel a tiny bit called out.
Sorry.
Tangentially, I did feel a little bit called out when you were saying that. Not related to Arduino, because my extent, my knowledge of Arduino is not. I think I've used it like 2 or 3 times just to play around with it and see what it did.
Yeah.
So it's not that extensive. But I think this kind of wait, how do I put this? I think this kind of comfortableness or comfortability, whatever the English word is, that you start to get into by working with the same hardware or the same software over and over again. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing.
Well, I think that this isn't your area of engineering, right? You're already exploring and learning more by trying it at all, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you got really into it, then I would expect that spirit of exploration to extend to learning more about, board layout, etc., making your projects more efficient, right? I would expect that to transfer. But you're already doing exploration just by using it at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like if you're starting to, if you're building your own board or exploring in that area, especially if you're not comfortable with that, whenever you're working on a project, there's a lot of things that you have to take into account. You don't want to branch out and start exploring everything, especially if you're doing something new, and you sometimes just want to stick with what you're comfortable with.
Of course.
If you wanted to switch from like Arduino to something else, that would be a project in and of itself. You learning those things to use somewhere else.
But I would expect someone to eventually want to do that with one of their projects, if that makes sense, right? Like, I would expect that, sure, maybe you build a few projects and they all have Arduinos in them and you're comfortable using that, but then at a certain point, one of those projects, you're like, man, this is really cool. I wanna make this smaller, right? I don't want to be housing this huge, bulky, all these bulky electronics in here, right? Like I wanna make this more streamlined, right? And I want to make it cheaper, right? Like I want to share this project so more people can build it. At that point, I would expect at some point someone who was curious about this kind of thing to start experimenting, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like it's never yeah, it's about using the right tool for the job. Now, accessibility is something that one might evaluate tools on. If you need something that is approachable, that you can get working fast, sure. You know? Absolutely. I don't think I don't think there's anything wrong with using an Arduino. And I mean, people make the same complaint often about Raspberry Pis, and I would agree. Raspberry Pis are wrong for, I want to say, 80% of the projects they're put in. But are they really wrong if people are using them to get them working, you know?
Hold on a second. I think Raspberry Pis are like, I don't think there's any kind of project in which you would use a Raspberry Pi and it would be the wrong decision. I think if you can stick a Raspberry Pi into it, I mean, why wouldn't you? So, wait, no, that's. Let me turn that statement around and say, if you're trying to do something, most of the time you can just use the Raspberry Pi. Like it's a universal solution.
Chat help.
I don't see how it would be a wrong chat.
Chat help. Okay, so what I would say about that is like,
Okay.
You are right that it will work for a lot of things, but you are using a full entire computer. You're using like a desktop PC to do something as simple as like read the value of one sensor and send it over the internet. You know?
I understand that. But it's very simple to use. It's like it's easier to use than other things. And if you've used Raspberry Pis in the past,
I mean,
you
listen,
start getting more comfortable with Raspberry Pis.
I'm using a Raspberry Pi in the dog, right? So you don't have to tell me that they are right for some things. That is a situation where I do, in fact, need a whole computer, but I don't need an enormous amount of customization of that computer. And it's the right solution there. It's easy enough to order another one, etc. You know?
Do you have any breadboards in?
No.
Any bare breadboards? No.
I printed my own PCB, and it handles everything, and it's very neat and tidy. But don't look at pictures of it. It's spaghetti in there. But it, you know.
Wait! You printed your? Can I see that? Can someone send me that? I'm
My
actually
PCB?
really curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I might have a spare one on the desk. No, I don't have a spare one on the desk. We did like a whole stream of soldering the components on it.
I missed that.
Would you have wanted to watch it? It was very boring. It was just me soldering for hours.
I don't know how people can think soldering is boring. Soldering is very fun.
It's very soothing. I think of it as like kind of therapeutic, but I don't know if I would consider it interesting.
For people who, so here's what I think, because we have people in chat who have no idea what's happening, and we have people who are more experienced more technically experienced. I think from both sides, soldering is interesting, because for people who don't know what's happening, it's like very cool. It's like, it looks visually interesting, and it makes you think, damn, this person that's doing this is really, really smart.
What? Does it? I don't think they ever think I'm very smart.
I mean, I can guarantee you, the people who don't know exactly what you're doing, because I can say this, I have no idea what you're talking about like half of the time while you're reviewing these things. I'm just sitting here and So I can say from an outside perspective that you seem very smart.
Wow.
And people think that way. People think that way also when they watch your soldering streams.
Dude, I can't believe you called a VTuber smart. That's so embarrassing for you.
How is that embarrassing? Sorry, let me rephrase. You seem very smart.
There you go. There you go.
I thought I made that clear. I you know,
We got
because
him,
English
boys.
is
We
my first.
fooled him.
English is not my first language, and I'm gonna use that as an excuse. I meant to say you seem very smart.
Smart for a VTuber goes crazy.
Soldering makes people look smart, just like glasses. Exactly.
like
That's why.
glasses,
That's why I
yeah.
wear glasses. Yeah. Yeah. It like increases. It, it like increases your perceived IQ by like 10 points, I think.
So, also tall for a VTuber. Yeah, that's a very low bar.
Literally.
I'm the tallest VTuber I know. I'm the tallest VTuber I know. Guys, I'm only
Wait,
5'7". I'm like average.
You're 5. Oh yeah, you're 5. So that's very short, by the way.
That's not that short.
I mean,
How
compared to
tall are
other
you?
people, no. 6'3". That's why I keep saying that everyone's just short.
Yeah, that's... Listen, man. Just because you're an outlier...
I'm like at the very far end of the bell curve, you know? I'm like on the very far end. For European folks, 6'3" is 191 centimeters. So 5'7" is around 170. Okay, you know what? Now that it's converted to like proper units, 170 doesn't seem that small. I think it's a part of
5'7" is
my brain.
average for an adult female in the United States? You are wrong, my friend. What is average in the United States? United States average height woman. 5'3.5".
4.
Yeah, 5'3.5". Yeah. So no. But it's average in plenty of countries. It's just not average here. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think they're like Scandinavian countries where the average height is like 5'7" for women. But yeah, no, that's
I mean,
it's
what I
a
can
fairly
say-
average height, and yet I
you what?
I don't
You-
know
you
any
wish-
VTubers taller than I am.
I mean, I kind of get what you're saying because from the people that I've talked to, they're all very short to the point where when you said 5'7", I was like, damn, that's a bigger number than I've ever heard. It's not a bad thing. So at least from my perspective, regardless if you're a VTuber or not or whatever,
Well, I've never met
the shorter you
Gary.
are, the better.
Yeah, everyone keeps being like, "What about this VTuber who's this tall?" And it's like, I don't know them. We've never hung out. So, anyway, sampling bias. I mean, I can't imagine. Unless you're saying that just like VTubering is self-selecting for short people, in which case, maybe.
I don't think that would be the case. I don't think there's like a requirement for height. For you must be under 5'4" to VTube.
I honestly think that low-key exists. Like, people will just kind of, like, when you're a VTuber, people will just come into your chat and just be like, "Oh, so short, I would punt you. I could throw you into the sun. You're so small." And I always just, like, feel kind of ashamed. I always
Is
just,
this
like...
Is this something that you have experienced or
Yeah,
firsthand?
Of course. This happens all the time.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I've never had that happen to me. I wonder why.
And I feel bad. Like, I don't want to disappoint them. I'll be like, yeah, I'm so small. I'm 5'2".
Wait, if they're wrong, why don't you
so small.
why
little tiny
why don't you
baby.
correct the misinformation?
Because I
Why
don't
don't
want
you
them
correct-
to judge me. And I'm worried that then they'll be like, "Ew," and then they'll leave. Anyway.
I think it helps to have
Excalibur, thank you so
goblin
much for 6
energy,
months.
but I don't think there's a direct correlation between goblin energy and height.
I always forget that Vettel's technically a VTuber. Okay, I'm not the tallest VTuber I know, but I'm second. And that's weird.
Damn, you just leaked Vettel's height. He's like 6'4", I think. That's according to himself.
Yeah, he said that. He's taller than you.
6'7". I don't know. He has made a lot of outlandish statements that I do not believe.
Listen, I have no idea how tall Bo is. In the same vein as Vettel. Bo has said that he is what 6'4", and also that he's like 5'2". I don't know. He just likes to change things up, so I have no idea.
From an outside perspective, Bo does not sound 6'4", and he also doesn't sound 5'2".
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm picturing like comical cartoon voices for both of those heights.
Yeah.
But truly, I have no idea. Vettel is taller than I am, but like, whatever. I forget that he technically counts. You know, it's not like he has like a because he's a turtle. You know, how tall
He's
is
still
a
a big boy,
turtle?
though. 3 inches.
3 inches. You heard it here first. That's how tall he is.
I don't know how many centimeters that is. I just said a number. I don't know how that converts.
Dude, I've been saying this for ages, is I actually have an advantage fighting really tall people because you can sweep the leg. They have a high center of gravity. It's not stable.
Also, if you wait like 10 to 15 years, the tall people are gonna, have an HP disadvantage from, the back pain and everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's true too. It's actually really sad, but tall people don't live as long.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me that.
I'm sorry.
Thanks for reminding me that.
I'm sorry. It makes me sad, but it's true. It's just kind of more work for your heart to do all the time, so.
Yeah. Yeah, guys. So if I have bad stamina, it's not me. It's my height. It's not me, and the fact that it's just my height, guys.
Do you have issues with blood pressure? Like, is your blood pressure low when you stand up?
No, I don't think I do. I've never had any kind of problems with my heart. But when I stand up, like every single time without fail, I just get dizzy.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the question I'm asking.
Oh, is that blood pressure?
Yes. Your brain's a little low on oxygen for a second when you first stand up.
Yeah.
Because of the work it takes to... Yeah.
I did not think that was blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I did not think that was blood pressure.
Yeah.
That's because of the height. I mean,
it can have many different causes, but it's very, very common in tall people just because it's harder to get blood up there.
But it can also happen. It can also happen to people who are shorter.
Oh yeah. If you're not eating enough, if you're low on certain electrolytes, etc., it can happen to you for any number of reasons. Iron deficiency, exactly, inability to get enough oxygen, basically, in your blood.
Yeah.
So there are many things that can cause it. But yeah, no.
I assumed it was iron deficiency at first. That was my initial assumption, and I tried taking iron supplements for like 2 months. Nothing happened.
Dude, iron supplements are the worst. I hate that. I hate it so much. I have to take them. It just tastes like blood. It's the worst. It's so gross.
My iron supplements taste like apple.
What? What kind of crazy tech they got over there?
Crazy tech. I have no idea. I just went to the pharmacy. I asked for some iron supplements, and they gave me like a box. It just tastes like apple. What do you mean? What kind of iron supplements are you taking?
That's wrong. That's definitely wrong. That's gotta be wrong, dude.
I mean,
are they like pills packets? Or gummies?
Neither.
What are they?
There's like little packets that you rip open, and then you pour them in your mouth, and you wait for them to dissolve, and it's like powder. It's like powder. And it tastes like apples, basically.
Tastes like apples? There's no way, dude. There's no way.
Oh.
Well, anyway, I hate thinking about that. You just buy tasteless iron pills? I don't know, man. I've taken now several kinds of iron pills, and they've all tasted like blood.
I've not had that ever.
Wait, dude, wait. Are you
Usually-
supposed to dissolve them in water first and then drink it? And you're just like,
No. Some of them dissolve in water. Some of them you just eat them directly. It depends. It's written on the box if you're supposed to dissolve them in water or not. But these ones, no. You're supposed to directly ingest them, and they dissolve in your mouth. That's
Okay.
what the box says.
I believe you, but I find it so surprising. So, next one, right? So,
Oh yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah.
let's pull this on here. I made a digital modular synthesizer and create a program to create patches. Program is called test12.py. I'm proud to say it no longer contains the canvas wrapper library I made, nor all of the data and configurations that used to all be part of this one huge file. Sweet God. So all of this is just one file.
I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea what I'm looking at.
It looks to me like it's sort of hard to see. Let me make it really big. Okay, so it looks like they are doing a bunch of like signal transformation.
Yeah.
I don't know
A digital
why-
modular synthesizer.
Huh? Yeah. Least unhinged Python programmer. Yeah, new folder 12 vibes. Yeah, test 12 pi, and it's got everything in it, all of it. But yeah, no, it looks like they're just like doing some waveform transformations, and that's the gist of it. Okay, onwards and upwards. This one is called Battle Against the Sun. Ah, curtains. Okay. Let's see. So when moving in, I didn't have curtains, so I used a big black sheet of plastic, then added aluminum foil to prevent the sun from heating my room up too much. Finally, to still be able to get some light in, I made a pulley system to lower the entire curtain bar, since that was the easiest solution that came to mind. Oh my god. Slab of metal used as hook here is piece of a door handle that I took from my uni's trash. Sweet God.
This is ingenuity at its finest, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it looks about how you'd expect it to look, but, you know.
I mean, this is like, modern problems require modern solutions.
Dude, the one clamp on the curtain, I swear to God. Do you see it? Do you see the lone clamp?
Yeah, it's holding everything together there.
Yeah, it looks really bad. If I went over to someone's dorm and they had this set up, I would just be like, "Do you need curtains?"
I would be impressed. If I saw this, I would be impressed. I'm like, damn, this person's smart. I would be impressed.
You can get nearly free cloth goods from like most Salvation Armies. There are a lot of things that are not in any condition to be like sold, but are in a condition to be like, donated. They have tons of tablecloths, etc., that they're not going to sell. You could just.
Yeah, but this is so much more cooler though.
For free.
And
then it wouldn't look like this.
Yeah, but this is so much more cooler,
What is cool about this to you?
What is cool? It shows that the person who made this is an inventor, They're an engineer.
I think they would be no less of an engineer.
First of all, I have never heard of a problem like, quote, when moving in I didn't have... Oh, when moving in, never mind.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wait, how do you not have curtains? But yeah, when moving in, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you not have like a curtain rack or something?
Me or them?
Them.
Yeah. I have no idea how this comes about. I've had hacky solutions similar in places I've lived, but I wasn't proud of them for sure. Wait, is the foil directly on the window? The foil is directly on the window.
To keep the sunlight out?
I somehow thought that the foil would be secured to the back of the black plastic, not to the window itself.
If it's secured to the window, it doesn't allow that light and heat to come in. So it makes more sense that it'll be secured to the window. But you kind of need a way to take that apart if you want natural sunlight, right?
Yeah, right? Like, I imagine that then during the winter you'd have to pull all of this down, and what a waste of foil.
Foil is cheap. What do you mean waste of foil? You can take it down, you can more or less reuse it. It's also very cheap.
From the giant pile of foil strips on your floor. I would definitely have secured it to the curtain itself. I would have made a foil-backed curtain before I would have made a foil attached directly to my window.
It is less efficient, though. It is.
It's true. You would lose some efficiency.
Efficient.
I mean, depending on how you're measuring this, how do we rank the efficiency of never being able to get natural heat and light from most of your window?
Well, if you want to get natural heat and light, you can just go outside. You don't need natural heat and light in your room.
That's the saddest thing and the most programmer thing you've ever said to me.
If you have plants, then yes, you do need natural heat and light in your room.
You don't need heat and light in your room? God, programmers!
Unless you have plants.
Oh, it's so sad in there.
I used to have like an AC unit, right? And this was back in my family house. We had an AC unit that it was white. Like it when we installed it, it was white, and then over the course of many years, it turned bright yellow just from the sun pointing at it directly.
Man.
And it turned bright yellow. The wall around it was still white, so we just had this yellow AC in the middle of a white wall.
I may die at 30 from the fumes I've inhaled, but at least I wouldn't say something like, "You don't need heat and light in your room."
I changed the subject already. How are you still stuck on that?
I'm sorry.
I tried to change the subject already. Okay, let me rephrase that. When I said you don't need, right? Especially during the summer, and from my own personal experience, it's not that you don't need light and heat in your room. It's that you don't want that in your room.
Okay, but the summer is
especially
notably, it's a quarter of the year.
Mm-hmm.
There are 3 other quarters of the year.
What I usually do is I just leave during like spring or autumn. I just leave my window open, but I draw the curtain in front of the window because you don't need, if you go outside enough, you don't need that sunlight in your room shining on your monitor or something. No.
Shining on your monitor. Okay, let's move on.
Why are you judging me? Why are you judging me for this?
Sorry.
Why are you judging me for this?
I'm sorry. So, the correct way to import files in Python. I don't think either of us is going to like this. Let's pull it up. Oh my god, this is dense with text.
What's so much happening?
Module to import from arbitrary files using globals. Why? Oh! Why? Oh, we've got a birthday in chat. Oh, we usually sing happy birthday, but I don't know because I'm doing a collab today. But happy birthday!
You can sing happy birthday if you want.
Zadron, are you sure? Are you sure that's okay? I have no idea if this is tuned. I haven't played this in days on stream.
Holding. Did she mute?
No, I didn't mute. I can if you want.
Okay.
Do you want me to?
No. I was gonna provide backing vocals, I think.
You're gonna provide backing vocals? Oh my god.
Yeah, I can provide backing vocals. But I think Discord is cutting it out.
Happy birthday to you. Happy
birthday to you.
to you. Happy
Happy birthday
birthday, dear Zadron.
Happy birthday, dear
Happy
Zadron.
birthday to you. Okay.
Happy birthday
Okay.
to you.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you for bearing with me. It's a tradition. And thank you for singing along. It was beautiful.
Great.
You should feature on my next song.
You should feature on the next song. I love singing. It's my passion.
I can tell, yeah. So, okay. Yeah, this is horrifying. I think this comment alone really explains how I feel. Feed the importer your global scope.
So, what I'm trying to understand here is the purpose. Purpose. Why would
Again,
someone create
yes.
something like this?
Why would you need this?
The script allows you to import things from arbitrary files. It seems like I don't think this is I don't even think this is a hacky solution. I think if you have a necessity for something like this, I think it's implemented pretty well from just the code that I'm looking at.
Feed the importer your global scope?
I mean, I think the biggest sin here is using Python.
I mean, that
at
is
all.
true, right? Like, for example, like Python has compatibility, right? Like, it would be pretty easy to write a library that would do this in C or C++ that would be...
Or C#.
Well, would that be inherently compatible with Python? I actually don't know.
Yeah, I mean, C# compiles to machine code if
Well, yeah.
if
But,
you wanted
like,
to. So
yeah, no, I would not write this part in Python. I also think that there are existing C++ libraries for doing this that you could just import into your Python project, and then you wouldn't have to do this. I do think this is gross. I do think this is broadly the wrong choice. But it's not going to ruin my life. It's not going to keep me up at night. Okay, this one, Robots with Style, is what it's called. Wait, okay, this is actually very cute, and I love this. Nothing hacky about this. I love this. This is the entire field of robotics in one image. We couldn't control the camera brightness through software for some reason, so I made tiny sunglasses for our rovers. No glue and adjustable brightness.
to be fair, that is smart.
Yeah.
That is smart.
No, dude, I've got no problem with this at all. This rocks.
The firmware needed for the cameras was incompatible with the locomotion, though, so we ended up not using them.
Classic. Yeah. No, this is perfect. You've committed no sins. You're pardoned, my
Yep.
child. Okay. What's next? Let's see. We've gotten through 5 so far, dude. It's been 47 minutes. We've gotten through 5. This is oh no pull-ups? Oh no.
Oh, this is your field of expertise here.
Wait, you know enough to you know enough, right?
I actually didn't read it at all. I'm busy downloading it. I just saw the breadboard. I'm like, oh, this is a
That's
Nelly
not a
thing.
breadboard.
The PCB, sorry.
What?
I
Looks like somebody used some
misspoke.
chips that only had pull-down networks, but no pull-up networks. That was a slight problem. Luckily, I could reverse all the LEDs, attach their resistors to +5 instead of ground, and use them as pull-ups. Resoldering was a pain. I had to solder new long legs to the LEDs. I don't know, man.
What?
I don't.
Okay.
I'm just.
You saw you saw that there was there's the 5 volts.
Look at this. Yeah, sunk cost fallacy is the biggest issue here. Like, at that point, why? Why would you? You hadn't even soldered anything else on! This couldn't have possibly been that expensive! Oh, I can't stop looking at it. Okay, incredible, incredible. This is the content that I was expecting. This is the content I was craving. This is what I was hoping for.
You were
Onwards and
hoping for
upwards.
someone to.
What? What?
You were hoping for someone to do this?
I don't know, just that kind of like funny Looney Tunes stuff. You know what I mean? He knows what I mean. Okay, so mounting with zip ties is the name of this one. That seems fine. I broadly think that mounting with zip ties is like a good solution, and you should do it if you want. I'm never gonna fault you for that. Me mounting limit switches. I think the left one is brilliant, but probably deserve to go to hell for the right one. The particle board is kept in place by the switch. Wait, okay, that's not good. I don't like that. But yeah, no, the left one looks great. The left one looks fine.
This all seems to be part of a larger project. I think there's like a backing storyline that spans all of these submissions.
A greater narrative,
It's the,
lore.
Yeah, the multiverse.
The lore. Okay, this one is called Lamp, but it's got the 2 dots. What are the 2 dots called again? Is that an umlaut? I don't remember.
Yeah, that's an umlaut. Yeah.
What is?
So
How do you pronounce an A with an umlaut over it?
I took like half a year of German, and I can proudly say I don't remember much. But it was like or
Lamp.
something, probably.
Lamp. Lamp.
Lamp, or something.
Lamp. Okay, let's see.
This is a permanent lamp construction.
Oh!
To be fair, you have to give them credit for the zip tie. Yeah, for being consistent in using the zip tie. Again, you have to give them credit for that.
Why is it so huge? Why not just use a pair of wire cutters? Why have you left its entire tail like that? Oh, what is even happening here? What is?
I think
okay,
it gives
so-
it style. I think it adds. This is more of an artistic piece. I think. I think not cutting the zip tie gives it, it makes it look better.
That's
I
tape.
think.
Okay, so there's tape. There's masking tape holding up Christmas lights. The Christmas
Yeah.
lights go down here, and then there's like a light bulb just hanging right there, and the switch is conveniently accessible right there. And then here is like a reading light. I want to say like a reading light. Is that an entire dead bird?
What?
Am I going
I don't
insane?
think that's a dead bird. Wow. I would assume it's not a dead bird.
What is it though? What is it?
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, I would agree that ultimately this is an artistic piece. This is a piece of modern art made to test my boundaries and push me as a viewer, and I think it has done that. I think it's beautiful, great art. Just a shadow. Thank you so much for the sub. How do you feel? How do you feel?
How do I feel? So first of all, I kind of need to doubt the. If we're talking about this piece purely from an artistic standpoint, then yeah, that's fine. But I have to doubt the practicality of this setup here.
So
Because I assume you had lighting, so
no, I mean I think this is their entire lighting, and I think it's great. But we do have a final answer. It's a fake bat, and they do have a dead squirrel. That's what we know now.
okay.
Incredible.
And you just have that on your shelf?
I love this. I love every part of this. I love the little like satellite above it. I love the textbook that it appears they've doodled on. Wow. Wow, this is incredible. Change nothing. Change nothing. Where do you submit your fails? I believe that we're closed for now. Although maybe we'll decide to do this again in the future because I don't know, man. I've been having fun. I don't know.
Yeah, we have like 130, like what, 100 to go through still.
And we're on 50.
And I think the first 10 have been reptiles.
Yeah, like everyone that we've done this stream so far. Okay. Legal building techniques. I'm excited. This Lego construction. Honestly, this doesn't look like a sin to me. I don't have a problem with this. Maybe.
Oh no, that's no. You look at the right side. Hold on, let me download the image. Look on the right side. You can clearly see the problem. If you look at the image on the right,
Oh.
you can very clearly see what the issue is here.
Yeah.
So
They're shoving the edge of this Lego piece.
This is not allowed.
Into like the channel on the side of the Lego piece.
Yeah, no, you're not allowed to do that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was just looking here and I was like, I don't know, man, looks like a tree to me. But yeah, no, on closer inspection, that is illegal, and you will be sent to hell for this.
I think they like Lego fines you if you did this. If they find that you did this, they're gonna send you a fine in your mailbox.
Oh my god, yeah, you don't want big Lego after you. They're scary.
Big Lego.
Okay. This one is called Boop. Boop. That's kind of cute. Oh my gosh! Wait, Rula! Thank you so much for the raid! I saw what you were drawing before, and it was real freaking pretty. Your art, so beautiful. So beautiful. Hello! Hello, friends! So, this is Alex. He's a programmer. A software engineer, and I am an electrical engineer, robotics engineer, really, I guess. But, you know, my degree is technically electrical, mainly. You have to choose a focus area in robotics, and I chose electrical. But, you know, I have a lot of experience with mechanical as well, because robotics. And between the two of us, we are qualified to judge the crimes that our communities have committed tech-wise. So this includes everything from bad code to bad cable management. We are looking at the horrible things our community members have done and deciding whether they can still go to heaven.
You want to look at the next one? You want to look at the next one?
Oh my, okay. Raiders, you won the lottery. This was the right time to come in because exposed mains are dangerous. So add some duct tape for isolation. He's booping them! That's illegal. This is so funny.
You have to imagine, this is probably not a temporary solution. This is like their permanent solution for it.
That duct tape looks aged to perfection. Like a fine wine. This is terrible. I hate this. I hate this so much. Why'd you boop it? Okay, we're putting that away. That one at the very least is definitely a sin.
100%.
So, what we're gonna do, because we've been going through just one person's for a very long time, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna skip to 62, which is the next one that isn't reptiles, and then when we finish, we will go back to the reptile anthology, so that we can make sure that we get to see more people's today, because I don't want to only see reptiles. You know what I mean? I think it's very funny. I'm having a very good time, but we've done more than 10 of reptiles, and I just want to make sure that we get to see some other people's as well. Okay.
So 62. Needed to replace a dead drive in my home lab and rebuild parity. Did not label which drive was in which bay, pulled out the wrong one, and sheared the SATA connector as the cable was too stiff. Had to balance the wire on the loose pins for 14 hours as I rebuilt my parity drive with the first replacement, and then again a week later with a second replacement. Oh my god!
Oh my
Oh
god!
my god!
Oh my god! Oh god!
How do you do this? Look at those pins.
Oh my god! I've never felt empathy for a pin before.
They're not even bent evenly.
It looks like the inside of a music box.
Damn.
This is horrific.
Imagine the things that guy must have went through. Had to balance the wire on the loose pins for 14 hours.
Oh. Oh my, how do you even do that? Poor boy.
Damn, bro. I actually feel sorry for you. I don't even think this is a sin. I just feel I feel bad for you that this happened to you.
They unged when they should have bunged. Basso, thank you so much. Thank you so much for 6 months. Oh my god.
At least the connector seems to be more or less fine.
Yeah, I'm honestly amazed that it survived that well. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. You can see some damage, but it looks mostly okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
There are. Is that dirt? Like, is there a pin missing or bent there?
I can't tell.
Or is that
I
like
can't,
just
or if
dirt?
it's just like detritus. So I think honestly this is forgivable. Again, like you said, like that's just a sad person who had a bad day. But let it be a lesson to all of us. So I was helping this friend who set up a Wix site with an iframe embedded in their subathon timer. I'm not reading
Keep
this.
going.
I'm not reading this.
Why not? It's yours, right? I can read it if you want me to.
No.
Only problem is that it also listened to events and was pushing an infinite number of requests to a public database.
This is my subathon timer.
First of all, can I just say, why Wix?
Why Wix? Because I was
Why
in a
Wix?
hurry and I also thought it was kind of funny. So the whole aesthetic of it was garbage. Like like if you look at the site, the whole point is just like clip art of guys in office clothes smiling and giving thumbs ups.
Yeah.
And it says like return to wage slavery on it. So I just kind of figured like aesthetics of trash. And I thought that honestly this site was designed with Wix really just like sent it over the edge. I thought it was good.
Oh, so someone had to learn Wix for that?
I mean, Wix is trivial. You just drag and drop it. So
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
I wouldn't know as I've never personally used Wix. So,
good for you,
so I
man.
would not know.
Never change. Stay pure. Stay golden, pony boy. So this was my Hire-thon site. Now, I made this timer based on the Megathon timer code, and I just assumed that like all of the adding time to it stuff would just kind of work out of the box because the Megathon timer is an existing item, right?
Yeah.
But no, apparently. Every instance that you have open is also like there's no central place where it basically ultimately you need a display one and one that actually writes to the database, right? You don't want to
Yeah.
be adding from every instance that you're displaying. So I had
Yeah.
a live instance on my website and an instance on every different screen of my overlays, right? Because I wanted to be able to have it shown when I was in just chatting. Basically any of them that are live, including every open instance of the website that anyone might have on their computer anywhere,
Yeah. Adds the time.
would independently be sending updates. So yeah, it went up to infinity really fast. Wolf helped me fix it. but yeah, this is the line of code.
Now, what I'm trying to figure out here is so every instance of the site would be sending updates, right? Even instances that other people had open.
Yes, sir.
That's what she said. Which means this would have been incredibly easily exploitable
Yes, sir.
by anyone or
Yes,
anyone
sir.
Thanks to @Quinzen
to add any amount of arbitrary time.
Well, it's not now, because now the only ones that are public, the only ones that you can access are the display-only ones.
Mm-hmm. But no, I was just saying, you wrote that originally, right?
No, that's actually from the Megathon timer. So I used the
from the
phones of the
Megathon timer.
Megathon because I just figured, like, okay, this will handle all of the writes and updates and everything, and I can just, like, make my timer around it. No, apparently. No, apparently. Rula, thank you so much for the sub!
Actual DDoS, it's there's no DDoS potential here. It's just that anyone can just add any amount of arbitrary time.
Yes. But not anymore.
If it's a public database. Not anymore, at least.
Well, thanks, Wolf. Very cool. Very cool of you to include that. Thank you. Yeah, that is true.
What?
It did DDoS the public database. It rejected requests due to rate limits.
Oh, it actually does the database.
I told you I wasn't smart.
I didn't believe you. Okay, so someone says once a customer absolutely wanted to put a gaming GPU into a non-standard, non-ATX pre-built PC, so I had to get creative. Behold the twin power supply unit HP EliteDesk, now with 100% more power, 80% less cooling, and a 50-50 change to either boot or chance to either boot or self-combust. Surprisingly, no PCIe voltage lines were harmed during the 2-year production run of this cursed piece of computing. And they have attached this image.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Two years?
2 years. 2 years.
It says 2-year production run.
What does that
So I hope I'm
ultimately
not-
mean?
I hope I'm not misinterpreting this, but I would assume this meant that they used it like this for 2 years. I assume that's
that is
what it-
also
that's
my
what it is.
assumption.
Yeah. But production run, kind of assume like
Were they producing this?
the,
Were they selling people bombs?
this is not a bomb. What's up with you and considering batteries to be bombs? You just have to be careful around the battery bombs, and they're not bombs. You know, you don't have to call them bombs.
They are bombs.
If you don't know what you're doing, yeah, they're bombs.
No,
But
regardless. Listen, not all bombs go off, but they are bombs.
so you're saying that if you were to carry a power supply unit through an airport, they would label it as a bomb?
They wouldn't, but they don't know things.
Okay, well,
That is what a bomb is.
if
They
it-
absolutely should label it that way.
is 100% more power. The 150% more power. So you said. So what I'm
Yeah,
interested in
stored
is
potential
how,
energy
how,
is all an explosive is, man.
how does this get cooled down? Because there's like
That's a very good
one
question.
teeny tiny there's like one cooler there, but how does this? How does anything here get cooled down?
Maybe that's just they'd only use it in very cold environments. Maybe it just lives in the walk-in. It doesn't.
It doesn't. Reducing clock speeds. I mean, that's defeats the whole purpose of this. Like, You didn't build this to reduce the clock speed because the customer wanted to put a gaming GPU in a pre-built PC, right? So you're not going to reduce the clock speed.
No, presumably not. I would say chemical potential energy then. You're right, you're right.
Yeah.
No cover for airflow. Beautiful. Okay, this is incredible. This one's mine, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, I
think so.
implemented AI suggestion in a game. The problem, it uses random to do a choice, but it works pretty well in game. I don't actually understand what this means.
Yeah, it uses random to do a choice, but it works pretty well in game. That sounds like something
Sounds
that I
like-
did.
Yeah, it just sounds
No,
like...
that's something I did. I actually made in order to test the Neuro Game API. I made an app that just sent random requests back or random actions. So this sounds like something I did. So yeah, definitely. If I did it, then it's definitely not a sin.
That's a
Next
very
up.
different approach to the one I had, but yeah, sure. A whale in the hot sun? Absolutely a bomb. I don't know why you would argue with that. Yes. It is
That's a
stored
lot of
potential
potential
chemical
energy.
energy that explodes. That was a pressure bomb. Like, I don't understand
Wait.
your confusion.
Only if the whale is dead.
Well-
Only if the whale is dead. If the whale is alive, it's not a bomb. If it dies, then it becomes a bomb.
So,
Next up, this is the first program I've ever written many years ago.
oh,
I stole and changed my friend's password to a game account, then sent him an exe that made him guess the new password.
that's incredible. That's not a sin at all.
I love that. Let's do some. Oh, wait, we can actually do code review here.
Yeah,
First
yeah.
of all, I
Do some
can
actual code
like
review.
just looking at the not equals operator being less than greater than.
Oh my god.
So what program? What is this?
What is
Pascal?
this?
Is
I've
this
never
Pascal?
used Pascal, so I'm not going to be much help.
I don't think this is Pascal. It's Pascal.
I've never used Pascal. Have you?
I have done a tiny bit of Pascal. If I'm not mistaken, setup. It's like an installer software where you can like make your own installer for an app, and you can write custom Pascal code for it. I think setup uses a dialect of Pascal, so I got a bit of exposure to that. So if this is the first program that you made, I think
Yeah, I don't
it
see anything
doesn't look
especially
bad
wrong.
for the first program, but Pascal is an interesting choice of language. I think. So I think we. Yeah, it was some time ago. They actually taught Pascal in the public education system
Oh, interesting.
for programming. You either did C++ or did Pascal, but they kind of moved away from Pascal,
We
which
did-
it makes sense.
We did Java, which was not the best,
It-
I think. That was like our option in high school for learning.
Was it only Java?
Yeah,
I
that
think
was
Java
our
is.
only option for learning in high school. It wasn't my first language. I had already been learning at that point, but yeah, that was like the first language that I like studied in a school setting.
I think Java was quite a good language for starters. Like anything that's object-oriented programming is a good start, I
But
would
it's
say.
like loosely object oriented, and once you start scratching under the surface, it's actually, I think, more confusing because like you have to worry and think about pointers, but you can't directly like use them, right? And so like
Yeah,
it's very confusing. I think that learning Java first actually makes things like references more confusing in the long term. So I wish that it had not been what we learned in school. But at that point, like we said, I had learned mostly in TI Basic was my first language. So by that point, I was very comfortable with the idea of like this is where this is stored, etc.
I think like some people say, and I don't know, like I don't want to say that I agree with them, but I think what they say makes a lot of sense. But a lot of people say that whenever you're first learning programming, you should probably start with something that's more low level, like C or C++. And in order to get the understanding of what's happening behind the scenes, first of all, the most important thing is how pointers work, right? And then memory and stuff like that. And after you've learned C or C++, you can move on to other programming paradigms.
Yeah, and I think I think even lower level than C is sometimes maybe good. I don't know if it's something that you want to spend a lot of time doing and you really want to understand
My
it.
first programming language.
I
school
I
included
think
Kennedy-
it's worthy.
was
Like
assembly. My
I think
brain
it's
is
nice. So
hard-coded into assembly to the point where I
being
can't
able to
understand
use like
object-oriented
ifs
programming.
and go-tos as basically your only control flow, that's what all of the other control flow you're ever going to be using is made of. And I think that it's actually very helpful to start there and then learn after that. But
In my opinion, main problem with starting, like completely starting programming with a low-level language like C, is that you're just immediately getting thrown into like the deepest pits of software engineering, where you just have to learn everything from scratch. If you haven't done any kind of programming before and you're just starting out, I think doing C++ is a good language because
Yeah.
you start off with like the basics, which are more high level. You start with the basics and data structures and algorithms, and then you move on to like more low level stuff with pointers. So I think C++ is a good language, but
Yeah.
if you're going anything that's more low level than that, you're gonna have a really hard time. And if you're starting with something that's more, if you're starting with Python, for example, if you're a software engineering student and you start with Python and you learn Python,
yeah,
and then moving on to like C++, it's like something entirely different. It's something that you have no idea how to work with. So it will be harder to learn C++ after Python than learning Python after C++.
I would agree with that, yeah. So I would suggest it based on what you want to do with it. If you're like curious about it just at a technical level and you're just like interested in the idea of it, I think starting with basic is actually a really good idea. I mean, and I don't know. I did that and I think that it was really cool. Starting with C++, I think is like a very good starting point if you want to learn and do this professionally. And I think that if you're just like having a good time and you're just kind of goofing around and you just like want to see what programming is like and how that works and you're only going to use this once, I would suggest Python. Because you're going to be able to make something that does something your first time, and that's going to be satisfying.
I kind of agree with that. It also teaches you a most important thing. So I think generally Python is good for like data science, but apart from data science, I don't really like Python. I think it's important because it teaches people how proper spacing. Like generally, I think that's the biggest part.
Because
the
it
thing that I like
enforces
most
white
about
space.
Python. It enforces white space. Like I have seen. So I was
Start with PHP is crazy.
So during high school, right? Because I learned programming before high school. So by the time I was in high school, I had already known programming. So during high school, I wouldn't even show up to like my programming class. I just come for like the exams and stuff, and I would look at the code that other people would be writing, and there were some people like, and I'm not even joking. They would put the entire code on one line.
On one line, I've seen it. I've seen it.
Not use or just no spacing at all. No spacing, just a straight code, no spacing at all. It's
Yeah.
everything with like zero indentation.
They're just
Or,
writing like minified
various-
C++ for some reason.
Yeah, or randomly indented code with no nonsensical indentation, just random amounts of spaces and tabs everywhere. And for people who are starting out with programming, I mean, the code
Yeah.
works. So
It works. Yeah, no, there's the XKCD about it, where it's like, it is technically a house, but it looks like the kind of house someone would build with only a hammer and a picture of a house.
also, so I want to bring up the Pascal code that we were looking at again, because I was looking through it more, and first of all, can you not? This code says, guess the first letter of the password, and then instead of actually typing in the letter, you ask them for the index of the letter in the English alphabet. And there's no string comparisons here, which probably. I mean, I want to assume anything, but something tells me that you know how to do string comparisons when you wrote this.
I don't
Also
know like
using
anything about Pascal.
case
So.
statements. Yeah, just enter the first letter of your password, but the index in the alphabet.
That is very funny. Yeah, that had not occurred to me.
Also, look at the spacing. Look at the spacing of this code as well.
I'm pulling it back up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Oh, sorry.
And
I forgot
the
you hated
variable-
it when I said that.
And the variable name, it makes me feel old. And the variable names as well, they're all one letter, which is classic math student going into programming.
Wasquirt.
Was squirt? Wait, is each letter of the password a different integer there?
variable. Oh man, dude, I kind of missed that. Yeah, that's good. So, does it count as a sin if I'm not ashamed at all? Oh my god. Our child refuses to repent. My blog runs off a mess of Google spreadsheets and GitHub actions, and I do not pay a single cent for it. The comment boxes trigger the Google Forms API to store the comment in a spreadsheet, and then a Google applet triggers a GitHub action to rebuild the page before publishing. That's incredible!
This is so based. This is so based.
No,
Hold on.
you shouldn't be disappointed in yourself. You shouldn't be ashamed at all. This rocks. The images are hosted in service account Google Drives for the free 15 gigs. They are get ignored, and a pre-commit hook uploads any new images to the Google Drive, then adds them to a different spreadsheet so my massive Jujutsu templates can grab the URLs. The
This is
entire tower
such
of cards will collapse the moment Google decides they don't want to host my stuff for free, but until that day I will not change a thing. Oh my god, they have a screenshot.
Bro, this is such a good way of doing this,
Yeah.
honestly. Just hosting your stuff on Google for free. Now, I do have to admit, using the pre-commit hooks is a bit, it's like over engineering, I think, doing pre-commit hooks or stuff like that. But it is actually incredible that you were able to,
Yeah,
to
this
pull
rocks.
this off. You might as well, though. I mean, you could just host the images on GitHub, you know?
Yeah, I was
'Cause it
thinking
has-
that. Like, wouldn't that also be free?
Yeah, I don't think there's actually any size to any limit to the repository size unless you have files over 1 gig. So what I had, so I can actually share some tidbits here because, when I was working in the past, the file size limit is like one. Is it 1 gig or 100 megs?
I don't know.
GitHub LFS limit. It's it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But when I was working, it's 2 gigs. Well, when I was working on some projects, I was trying to upload a file to GitHub that was too large. So what I did was I made a pre-commit hook that would take that file and split it into 2 parts. I would call them .part1 and .part2, and that would be a pre-commit hook. So the moment I committed, it split that file, which is get ignored, into the 2 parts. And it pushed it to GitHub. And then when someone cloned that commit, I had a different software set up, a different system set up in the solution, which would automatically take that file and put it back together from the 2 parts, creating 1 file, in order to bypass the Git LFS stuff. And I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of, if you get creative, there's a lot of free storage solutions you can find on the web.
That's true as well. And as a reminder, you can always send things on Facebook Messenger. Just send them again and again because Mark Zuckerberg loves it. He loves it when we store our images on his servers. He loves that. Okay, moving on.
Holy, this is a big one.
Yeah, this is long. Is this me or you?
I think this is me. For work, I had to write a GIS map rendering service, think S3 or ArcGIS, but done on the cheap. It bound to a C++ library that was very fast, but the bindings leaked memory like a sieve. I decided it was surely flexible with some effort and continued to prototype the thing all the way through to actually hooking it up in place of our current solution. Everyone loved it, it was fast, but it would eventually crash the crappy Red Hat boxes that we were forced to use. How quickly it would crash was based on the total number of requests. Anyway, as these things tend to go, the project was pushed to production all without me ever solving the memory problem. I honestly forgot about it since for all of the demos we'd spin up the VMs, run for an hour or two, and then spin it all down. It even made it through testing without crashing. Right up until a few hours into the first day of going live in production, the renderer VMs started crashing, taking the whole system down and letting multiple levels of C-suite execs in my little cubicle, asking some uncomfortable questions. So I did what any good engineer with a management breathing down their neck would do. I started running a few on my local machine, pointed to production so the system would start running again, and started manually killing or restarting them. All while hastily building a new VM, this time with a cron jump to restart the service once every 5 minutes. I set up to stagger between the 5 instances on the box, so 2 were always up, 1 was restarting, and the other 2 were stopping.
This was 8 years ago and never fixed the memory leak. It's still running like that today as far as I know. I moved on from the company, but former coworkers occasionally hit me up with questions about it. Last time was a few months ago. Occasionally the restarts aren't fast enough for peak load, and one of the VMs lock up. And we just blame Red Hat and management and nod and move on.
Also, this isn't some fly-by-night company. It's got a 2.8 billion market cap.
Oh my god, wait, that's so funny.
Restarting a cron jump to restart every 5 minutes is crazy. That's one way to beat a memory leak. That's one way to beat a memory leak.
Honestly,
So
I'm
restart
gonna
every
say
5 minutes.
not a sin. It's fine because it only affects the company and the other programmers know about it. It's fine. This is fine.
This is like DevOps at its finest.
Yeah.
This is basically Kubernetes. This is basically Kubernetes.
Wait, oh my god. Okay, moving on. Incredible. Oh, this is number 69. Okay. Tried to change
Nice.
phone's battery in a hurry without proper tools, with pincers to be exact. I don't have pictures, but view evidence for an illustration. Wow! Oh my god! Wait, I'm so glad I got this one. I'm so glad I got this one.
I think they're spreading the battery bomb propaganda.
What did I say, Chad? What did I say? You all doubted me.
So no, okay. I don't think anyone doubted you. We just said as long as you know how to handle it. This individual clearly did not know how to handle it.
I love this. I love the little face illustrations as well, where he goes from like to like.
And the hair being on fire.
This is excellent, amazing. Thank you, dude. I almost
This is
want to
also
slap my
a great
antennae on the
drawing.
one that's on fire and make that my Twitter picture. Pic. What do you think? My Twitter profile picture. What do you think?
I don't know, man. I don't use Twitter. I don't know what people do for profile photos usually. You're free to go wild though.
Thank you. Thank you for your permission. Okay, this one's you.
Why do I get the long ones?
I don't know, man. That's
About
how
10
God
years ago,
wanted it.
before ChatGPT and LLMs made this super easy, we had joked about replacing certain useless coworkers with scripts. We'd call it so-and-so as a service. That is such a good name. That is such a good name, replacing coworkers with scripts. So-and-so as a service. Well, we had a DBA who was exceptionally worthless. He refused to do anything that involved the command line. Okay. For context, DBA means database administrator, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
When my team pushed for and got allowed to use Postgres, he moaned about how its GUI was worthless.
You say GUI?
Well, there are several
You don't say
GUI.
GUI?
No one says GUI. No one says GUI. It's
That's
GUI.
not-
We have
Chad,
had this
back me up
we had
here.
this conversation last stream. We had this
I
conversation
know.
last stream.
I can't believe it. I wiped that one out of my
GUI.
brain. You say GUI.
I mean-
GUI.
Yeah, because it's an acronym. It's an acronym. You don't say USA. You say USA. You say USA. You don't say USA or something like that, right?
Well, it depends on the acronym, right? There are some that you pronounce like NASA, and there are some that you spell out like USA. GUI is one that you say.
I don't think it's what you say. Also,
Okay,
NASA
continue.
NASA is not an acronym. The concept of an acronym was invented after NASA got his acronym. I watched a YouTube
God,
short on
you're
this,
such
and
a
this makes
dork.
I watched a YouTube short on this, and this makes me a professional in this field.
Are you president of
NASA
Quizball? Are you the captain of Quizball? Are you going to win
NASA
Quizball?
According to one guy in chat, NASA is initialism, and it's different.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in that case, you know what else is initialism? GUI.
If GUI is an acronym. It's a graphical user interface.
Well, but so is like NASA also stands for something. Like, what is your point here?
Yeah, but NASA, is a word that you can pronounce.
And GIF,
GUI
right? Like you say you don't say GIF, right? You don't say dot
you say GIF.
GIF file.
Yeah, you say GIF.
Yeah, so you understand the concept that it is possible. So I
Yes,
would
but
say
you cannot use this as an example because we all know English is a very, very bad language which has absolutely no consistency. So you can't use this as an example. I've always pronounced it GUI. GUI. It sounds like
yeah, it is kind of gross, isn't it? It's gooey.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. Like when you hear about GUI, you feel like you don't want to use it.
Okay, continue.
Hold on, Ellie. Someone in chat is making a very good point. What if there's no G? What if
You say
is
UI.
it just
But again,
UI?
you say UI,
Oh,
but like I said, like
okay,
is,
and if you had a G, it's GUI, right?
I would say GUI. No, it's like these things depend on context, right? It's really just a matter of how people say them, and the one that is said more by a lot is GUI. Wait, actually, what is your first language?
It's Romanian. It's Romanian, and English is my second language.
Man, I don't know a ton about Romanian. It is a Romance language, though. I mean, hence the name.
It is. It is a Romance language, but with a bunch of Slavic influences.
And
But,
what's the writing system? Is it the Latin alphabet or?
It's Latin alphabet, and everything is written exactly as it's pronounced. So
Nice.
none of that English problem. Also, yeah, as someone else said, like I have before we had our last collab, and you said GUI, I had never heard GUI before. I had even in
Really?
all of the YouTube videos, like, it was like okay, maybe I've heard ImGUI before for Unity. It has like immediate GUI, and people pronounce it ImGUI. Like
Yeah,
that's
dude.
something that I've heard.
Yeah, so you
Everyone
have heard
says
it,
GUI.
is what you're saying.
I have heard GUI.
Yeah.
You were also the person who used SQL instead of SQL, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. To be fair, if you say it a lot, then you are gonna tend to shorten it
Exactly.
to SQL. But I've only ever heard SQL, and this is 100% a language difference because in our language it is an acronym, and you can't like shorten it to SQL.
You would just say SQL.
So that's why.
That's just such a chewy thing to have
Yeah.
to say. SQL. That takes so long. SQL is just faster.
So let's see what this person was saying. So what they were saying was that the database administrator who was worthless, they refused to do anything that involved the command line. And when they switched to Postgres, he complained about how the GUI was worthless. Well, there were several data loads that were on a vague schedule, government agencies releasing data, and he was adamant we don't automate them. He had to manually verify all of them. Long story short, he'd unzip the files, load them all up in the GUI, review them, and then concat them all together and ask me to go run the giant script through PSQL because pgadmin3 would freeze and crash if the SQL text was too long. Okay, so after the first few times, I wrote a Slack bot that if you DM'd me a SQL script, it would parse out an environment to run it on and SSH it and run the script. What I didn't realize is I didn't limit it to just a database admin. Anyone could DM me a SQL script and it was wrong. It took me months to realize my coworkers all knew about this flaw and were using it to bypass the entire DBA team without them knowing. My solution, I turned it into an actual web service, blocked it from deploying to production, used our app service account, all just so there wasn't a paper trail. Eventually, the whole IT department knew of it and were using it, even my manager.
No one ever asked who wrote it or why it existed. Wait, that's so funny. Dude, again, not a sin. Not a sin.
Just randomly evaling
Atlanta
files that
Troll,
people
thank you
send
so
you
much
in
for the prime
DMs
sub.
is such a funny concept.
Right? And like not even being aware that your coworkers are just like using this Okay. Next one. This one's mine. Oh, this one's still pretty long. You'll be happy about that. Old Microsoft IDEs were the worst. Visual Studio, SQL Management Studio specifically. We had some automated pipelines for database migration scripts that would auto-deploy to testing environments, and even use Docker to run on a blank version of the database to ensure the script ran. Except we had some scripts from certain devs that would crash the whole pipeline and runner, failing to parse the SQL files. The solution was to open the file in Vim, save, and then it would just run fine. We were unable to work out what was going on, except that the first 2 bytes were missing after the save. So added a fallback if it failed to parse. We removed the first 2 bytes of the file and move 1. It worked. After it took 2 years before we worked out the Visual Studio and SQL Management Studio defaulted to UTF-16LE, which included a bomb byte order mark that most UTF-8 based parsers would crash on. Soon we told everyone to change to UTF-8 and it still crashed. Turns out these IDEs do UTF-8 with 3 byte. Almost nothing understands it. It doesn't help that Microsoft is the only one to even use it. Long story short, we just process all files now, removing the bomb byte signature if they're found. You'd think that we could mandate something using something more sane like VS Code or JetBrains, but it turns out not in this economy. It's just easier to strip the offending bytes out and move on. That is not your text.
You can actually still see the bytes, like when you commit stuff to like GitHub.
Yeah.
GitHub actually shows the BOM at the start with like some red dots at the start of the file, so you can still see this.
Yeah.
Honestly, first of all, VS Code is still a Microsoft IDE. Keep that in mind.
Well, I mean, kind of. It's built on the bones of code, right? Which is, again, because Microsoft loves to take open source projects and, just make them their own and then make them worse. But like, yeah, no, it's code, right? It wasn't built by Microsoft. It's not built on the bones of, Visual Studio, right? It's called Visual Studio Code, but it's
totally, yeah.
Yeah, it's,
but they still own it right now, even though it was,
yes.
It's separate from Visual Studio, they still own it. But the mention of JetBrains ID gets bonus points, I think. I think more people could benefit from, and this is not propaganda at all. I'm not being paid by JetBrains to say anything.
You might as well be. I'm surprised you're not paying them. Notice me, senpai.
Yeah, you're surprised I'm not paying them. Bro, I'm gonna be paying them for like 40, 50 years soon. So if I can get away with using like open source licenses or student licenses or content creator licenses, I'm gonna try to use that as much as possible before I start paying them for the entire rest of my life.
Pay them with exposure. Yeah, no, I like VS Code. It's usually what I use. I'm not married to it. I've had to use plenty of other IDEs. But yeah, no, having to use actual Visual Studio, it sucks. It sucks so bad. It sucks so bad. Anyway, there we are.
Wait, this next one is sick. Before I had a proper bench power supply material set up or anything proper, I took my hand at some electroplating in the most scuffed way possible. Not pictured is the time I balanced a 3-volt battery on a wrench with an alligator clip for a power source as my first attempt.
Why?
Okay, thankfully that's not pictured, but we have this other picture. And honestly, this looks incredibly sick.
Yo, this does look incredibly sick. Oh, I know who this is.
You know who this is? Is it because of the battle axe?
Yeah. This looks awesome, dude. I don't know what you mean. This just looks awesome.
Yeah. Wait, what does the next one say? The Lord won't forgive me for this, so my only hope is that you will.
Oh god, what is it? Oh, it's code review.
We have some JavaScript finally.
No one has
I
ever
have
said
been waiting
finally
for
about
this.
JavaScript in my presence.
That's a good point. I've been waiting for this for so long though.
What am I looking at here?
So let's do some code review chat.
No, it's the naming. It's the variable names that I'm looking at.
Catch parental incest, 3-child parent. That's actually really funny. Incest cases.
Yeah,
So for
it's
each
fairly
child-
simple code-wise. Why have you named it like this?
So for each child, right? If their spouse includes their parent, then we add that to the incest cases array.
Yeah.
And also if the children of also it does the same thing recursively for
Yeah.
the children. This is incredibly funny, and you get the pass for being funny.
I don't think you should have called it that. Prodigal Son,
If I
thank
saw
you
this
so
in
much
my
for
code
6
review,
months.
I would LGTM.
Okay, well, you heard it here first. He's
This is-
he's
this
the
is-
software
it
engineer, and he says it's
cases.
okay.
No, it says cases. They misspelled it. They had a minor spelling mistake, unfortunately.
Alrighty, moving on. I had to print over 200 parts for something. I automated my printer, so it ran for about 18 days, only stopping to switch spools. A few days after the large batch was done, I wanted to print something, so I started it overnight. When I woke up, it had aired out because the thermistor wire had been severed from repeated dragging in the same spot. Oh no! Well, that's unfortunate. And it is something to keep an eye on when you're doing repetitive print jobs. I am sorry that happened. Yeah, if you look at it, it's just a
Oh,
very
it's-
sad little bit of cable, isn't it? Why didn't
Yeah.
that drag on? Why didn't that work?
Yeah, it does not drag on for me either. It's an HEIC image. That's why.
Ah, I see,
It's
I see, I see.
HEIC. So it doesn't drag on like
Well,
that.
you'll just have to imagine in your mind a very frayed, sad-looking cable.
Mhm.
Okay.
You should have included a photo of the print job failing, because I think those are really, it's sad when they fail. It's a bunch of wasted filament, but sometimes you can get some really pretty modern arts. HEIC, don't you mean hake? I've never heard.
Hake.
I've never heard anyone say hake.
No, I've never even heard of HEIC, so you're doing
I think
better
it's
than me.
I think it's a camera format. Some cameras use that. I'm pretty
A
sure.
heck image. Apple format. Interesting. Okay, so this one is yours, I believe.
Sometimes someone really needs you to hold something up for them.
This isn't your sin. I think you've already done your penitence. Oh my god.
This looks like one of those
Oh.
scars that you would get from like the hot irons.
Yeah.
Now my question is, how do you hold up with those fingers?
Yeah, what
Like, if you're ho-
exactly
if-
were you
Yeah, if you're holding
trying to
something
picture
up
how
for
it
someone,
even
yeah,
happened?
how would you get the scar there? Bro got branded.
Oh god, Brand. Oh my god. Genuinely impressed and a little horrified. Okay, moving on. Not
It kinda-
your
it-
Texan.
it
You
kinda
have
looks-
nothing to repent for.
It looks like a beam, not like a steel beam or something.
Doesn't it? Yeah,
maybe?
it looks like a aluminum extrusion almost.
Yeah. Like a channel. There we go. That's what I was looking for.
So, is the next one mine then?
Oh, you can take it, yeah.
No. Okay. We needed some game elements to test our climber. What can I say? This mess successfully supported a 100-pound robot as it swung from bar to bar multiple times. FRC season 2022. Let's go. Okay. Let's see. That's not a sin. Listen. Improvising how you're gonna build your field, like in your own lab. That's one of the most exciting and cursed parts of FRC, and I think you did a
100%.
pretty good job here.
100%. Wait, I want to ask you something about FRC because they don't do FRC in Romania. They only have FTC.
Oh, that's
But
so
for
sad.
yeah, I know, I know. For FTC, you can like buy the incredibly expensive game parts from like whoever the local supplier is. And if you don't want to buy them, this was actually something during COVID where you had like remote matches, like FTC had like remote matches. I'm not sure what was.
Yeah.
You can fill me on what was happening in FRC after, but FTC had like remote matches, and you had to get the game parts, the official game parts from bot
Yeah.
from FTC, and you weren't allowed to use. I think if you wanted to make you were also allowed to make your own stuff, but it had to like have like the same. It has same dimensions and same weight and everything else.
Low-key extortion, let's be real. But also kind of
It's
a lot of
also
the processes.
incredibly expensive. Yeah, it's also field elements are incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
They were incredibly
So
expensive.
I admire
They
this
mark it up a lot.
ingenuity. I do
Yeah.
worry about those plastic folding tables supporting a swinging 100-pound robot, but also, I don't know, man. You just gotta respect the hustle. Overall, I don't think you've sinned.
I think I assume you spent maybe not a lot of time, but you spent quite a bit building this. You must have.
Yeah, it looks like it to me. So yeah, not a sinner. Not a sinner at all. Dude, we're making good progress this time. I gotta say, we're like farther than we were last time. Well, not yet. We're like
Don't forget we
3
skipped
off?
like 10. Don't forget we skipped like 10.
Yeah, you're so right. I forgot
Yeah, we
that.
skipped
Okay.
like 10.
No, you're right. Okay. Tool holder got a little too close to the part. Let's see. Oh!
Oh no.
Chad, it looks about how you'd expect. Oh wait, is this another heck file?
Yeah, it's
Oh
it's
no,
another
we
hex
won't be
file.
able to show it! I don't know how to paint you a word picture of this.
So,
They've joined to
imagine-
become one beast. They're in love now, and
Yeah.
God can't separate them.
That is actually a very good description of what's happening here. That is a very good description.
Here, I'll screenshot it. Save as. And then we just... Can I just... Is there a way to like... It's gonna be annoying to open it up, but yeah, if you can just picture that they have joined into one being. So, next. CNC kept breaking taps for some reason, so I took the part home and did it by hand with an adjustable wrench like a barbarian. Oh my god! Just did the taps with a wrench!
How did you do that with a wrench?
Honestly, not mad at this either. You do what you gotta do. I'm more impressed by your hand and arm strength. I don't think I could have done that. I don't think I could have hand tapped those. Like this is a thick piece of metal that we're looking at right here.
Yeah. It's like
And
what?
that's like a standard wrench. Like that's not. Yeah, honestly, I'm just impressed. Just you got strong arms, sir. Okay, moving on. Take one guess at what this does before reading the rest. This setup is okay. So we've got to open
Okay.
it first.
We've got to open it first. Okay.
Oh my god.
All right, let me. Okay. So we have both
Sketchy
hardware and software here.
USB.png. Incredible. Okay. Okay. So, that's a fingerprint reader, right?
It looks like it, yes.
And it's rubber banded. So, is this some kind of like... I mean, it looks like what it would do is that it would just be like a USB security key. Like you'd plug it in and you'd check if it was your fingerprint, and it would just provide security, the same way that a lot of those would. But it does look bad. I don't like looking at it.
So there's this thing called temp on pin 0, right? There's a pin 0 called temp, and that hooks up to something else there. And depending on what the fingerprint detector, I assume, is reading, temp is being set to high for 2 seconds and then back to low. So I assume this is what you said. This is verifying that the fingerprint actually matches and then sending off like some kind of authentication key or something.
Yeah. Well,
so let's see what they say.
Yeah.
This setup is incredibly cursed, using a fingerprint reader pre-programmed with some memorized prints to trigger a T-Tiny85, which then enables the user presence button on a custom flashed USB controller acting as a USB security key, which only registers my fingerprints.
He did make an enclosure later, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, so this is a USB security key.
How painful. I mean, they are needlessly expensive, and this would presumably be pretty cheap. The most expensive part, I think, being the fingerprint reader, although I don't actually know what those cost. I just kind of assume. Yeah, the rubber band is really what does it for me. Okay. Oh, I think this is yours.
Let's see. Of course. So how long till you broke everything for the first time? For me, it took less than a week into my first tech job. Back then, our project was like a local multiplayer game with dozens of connected computers in a closed LAN network. There are many shared files and configurations that all the computers needed, and so to simplify installations, we used shared network drivers quite extensively. All computers in the lab test environment used the same shared X and Y drives. Our local workstations were also in that same network and needed most of the same files too, so they also used the same X drive. However, the Y drive was supposed to point to local files instead of the shared drive. Sadly, supposed to is not that strong. Cue a whole day with a broken lab with everyone trying to figure out why the files keep getting overridden, while I'm just sitting oblivious in my room still learning the basics. So having two drives like that over the network and basically substituting one of them out for a local drive, surely there was a better solution to this.
Yeah, I think that's on them. You were just a baby.
Hard-coded drive letter. Yeah.
This wasn't your fault. You shouldn't have been placed in that position. Like, I don't think you should be in a position to break things in your first, 2 weeks of having a tech job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you shouldn't, they shouldn't let you near any of the, of the dangerous things. And this also seems like a bad implementation. We have these two drives shared, except on certain computers that have one drive local and one drive shared. Surely you could have they could have found a better solution to doing this, right?
No, I agree. This is on them.
100%, yeah.
My sin is the GUI for my first big project at my current job. Also, my job training graduation project. By now, it's almost 6 years old, and I honestly can't look at it anymore. It's completely remade by now. The evidence is the designer view in the IDE from the main form. All components that are used in any of the 6 states of the GUI are on a single page form, and some will be moved, scaled, made invisible, or have their caption text changed during runtime to fit the needed GUI. Many others simply have anchors. They will automatically align to the components, which makes slight layout changes almost impossible. As you can imagine, this was terrible to maintain, update, and expand. All the red boxes are used for alignment and have width height 0 during runtime, and funny enough, the least sinful thing in this mess. Okay, let's see it. Oh, it's rough.
Oh, this is why I hate the GUI stuff, honestly,
Yeah,
and any
same.
kind of front end.
Yeah, same. Yeah, this is rough, but I can't say I would do better. I've made some pretty bad GUIs in my day.
It doesn't look that bad.
Yeah,
There
it
are some
looks
overlapping buttons
usable.
at the bottom. There's more overlapping buttons in the middle.
Yeah, PDF management login is over. I don't know what that would be, but
Well, you first have to log in before clicking the user management button, right? So, oh wait, there's a login button in the middle and a log off button at the bottom.
yeah, I would assume that, like they said, like at runtime,
Yeah.
things move and so I wouldn't imagine that that all of this would be
Oh, yeah.
visible during use,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah, so
That's a good
I don't know, man. It seems fine to me. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, it does not seem that bad.
So,
Let's see. Okay, let me
Oh, cute,
let me
cute,
see
cute.
what this is about. Let me see what this is about.
oh, this is a robotics question. This is a Ross one. Have fun.
Why is this written in green text format?
I know. I kind of think that's cute though.
I'm not reading the green text format, but also the image
No,
is.
then I'll do it.
Okay, but the the image at the bottom is the one on Imgur is. It's quite bad. I've seen worse, but it's also quite bad. All
Oh,
right,
let me look. I haven't actually opened the image yet. Start reading the
It's,
green text.
you can read the green. I'm not reading the green text.
Why?
You can read the green
It's
text if you
cute.
want.
Sorry about your toes.
Yeah, the toes are. It's kind of unlucky.
I'm not entirely sure. They're clamping the.
Yeah, I think we're missing out the plot because no one read the
Okay,
green
okay.
text.
I'm reading
I
the
think we're
green
missing out
text
the-
now.
Okay, read the green text.
Vimy and Uni, working on a 50-kilogram mobile robot. Wanted to check my ROS node outputs the correct command. Wait, wanted to check my ROS node outputs the correct command. Got it. Press the actuator kill switch and push to move the robot manually to check outputs. Bug found. Kill node. Debug. 20 minutes later. Bug fixed. ROS run the node. Unlatch the kill switch. Click SFX. Robot suddenly move at max speed. Robot hit wall, crash. Redirected to my friend, K. I'm gonna call him Kevin because I just assume that every guy's name that starts with K is Kevin. Panic.exe. Shout to warn him. Too late. Robot run over his toe. Hit the corner of the room, get stuck. Ran to the robot, push power switch. Look at friend's toes. Bleeding.exe. Emergency bandage. Walk to medical center. It turns out I forgot to clamp the internal PID controller in motion to the control. Oh no, in motion control node. It did not kill motion control and sensor reading nodes. 20-minute debug, robot not moving, did not kill motion control node, large integral, large motion command, actuator kill switch logic in microcontroller, only ignore motion command from computer when high, not truly disable actuators. Christ. When actuator kill switch disengaged, hell break loose. Okay, now I'm a fresh grad robotics engineer. Proud of you. Manager
Mr.
praised me for always double checking before running the robot without being taught. Thanks to Kevin's toes for sacrifice.
You also missed the line of the green text, by the way.
Oh, no, I didn't miss it.
Okay. What they have attached is an image of a bleeding toe. The fingernail
Yes.
seems to be Ripped. Oh, it's
Yeah,
it's quite
horrific.
bad. It's quite bad. The the robot moving on its own. So I've had that happen to me as well.
Mm-hmm. It's a
Um,
canon event.
it's a canon event. When working on like I didn't do complicated stuff like this, but working on autonomous modes
Yeah.
is. I have had the I want to take away from this story by providing my own story, but we
No,
can
do it.
circle back to yeah. So I was doing I was doing the autonomous mode for FTC at some
Mm-hmm,
point in my back in my day when I was doing stuff like that. And what actually happened was the robot had a weight imbalance. So giving full power to all motors would result in it slightly veering towards the left.
Yeah.
So what I did was there was a library called Roadrunner. I didn't use that. So what I was actually trying to do, I was trying to correct that motion using the internal IMU, the gyroscope, and I don't know what I don't know what happened. What do you mean, but? Wait, what you said, but?
I just you know,
Hmm? You can comment. You can comment.
why write what already exists?
Roadrunner seemed complicated.
Okay, continue.
Roadrunner seemed complicated. Okay, so I was reading the gyroscope input, and I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what happened, but I just started the robot thing, and it just would not stop. Like we tried killing it, it just would not stop. The motors kept going at 100% speed, and they just went straight forward.
Horrifying.
And it would not die. Like we tried to stop it from the app, and the app crashed, and it was still going somehow. I don't know how it still goes after the app crashes, because it's supposed to be controlled from the app. And it it ran into someone. Thankfully, their toes were not hurt by this, but they did get like one of those good old scooter into the shin kind of thing.
Oh,
If you've ever been hurt like that before, you know what I'm talking about.
dude, one of the first things that I was asked to make on my high school robotics team, and remember that I was like a baby and terrified and new to these people and this team. One of the first things I was asked to make was they were like, "Can you just write like simple demo code just so that we can like expand and show different parts of the robot during the interview, right?" Like so for those who don't know, part of
Yeah.
the like first process is that you do like an interview with the judges where you show off your robot and you talk about how it works and what it does. And you do like this kind of hokey, embarrassing, memorized script. Did your team do that, or did you just talk about it?
So what we did was we had like one guy who knew everything, and then the rest of us knew like almost nothing. So we had like one guy who just kept yapping and yapping and yapping and would not stop because it was like his baby, right? So we let him do the talking. Right, we had no script actually. We just let him talk.
Oh my god. So our oh god, it was so embarrassing. And like I still can kind of automatically fall in. I'm not gonna because obviously it would be very doxing, but I could still immediately fall into like, "Hi, I'm Ellie so and so, and we're team such and such, number such and such from such and such state."
You did stuff like was this for the interview? We never did stuff like that for interview.
We took it extremely seriously. And the interview is important. You've got to express your character as a team. We always had someone in full costume come to the interview, and we were on a tryhard team. We were all tryhards, every single one of us. But anyway, they were like, "Oh, Ellie, can you write like just like a simple script just to like show off what the robot can do, just like expand the different parts of it, etc. on a button press?" And I don't even know how I did this. I don't even know how I did this, but I somehow made it so that it did all of them at once on button press. And the robot just like everything is like shooting out, and it's just like like twitching wildly. And it was my first time. I still shudder when I remember.
I mean, you're lucky because in some instances, I'm not sure if how you built this, but I know that our robot, at least, like when everything was compacted down, into like the starting position, there were some servos there that they better not move. They better stay still until
exactly.
the robot
That's why
expands.
it was like twitching, right? Because it was like trying to jerk open something that couldn't.
No.
And then the captain of my team was like, "You said you could code, right?" And I was like, "No, apparently not, sir. I'm sorry, sir." So, anyway, that's my trauma.
With how you described that interview process, and you said you were a tryhard team, and then you you said the following thing.
Seizing.
You were what? You were tryharding the motivate award or the.
Listen, man.
the
Any
inspire
award is an award.
Yeah. I mean, okay, but the design award is. I would say the design award is like the least serious one.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, like, safety? I would much rather get design than safety.
Is there a safety award?
You didn't know that?
Wait, there's no safety award.
Oh, maybe not an FTC.
Is that that's an FRC thing? Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
must be.
Yeah, there's no safety award in FTC.
Yeah. Anyway. Oh, yeah, canon event. Okay, so Yandev style drone flight controller code. Wrote this when I was making a quadricopter from scratch for my school project. As you can see in the picture, I have refactored it sometime later, but only after the drone took off and smashed into the ceiling while the remote was turned off.
Oh, this is a great screenshot, by the way.
Oh, this is demonstrative of what some good refactoring can do. So how do I get this so just like this is how much code there was. Look at all of this code, and this is how much code there is now. We love a little refactoring. We love to reduce the lines of code in our code base.
Okay, but they're not showing the. This is misinformation here because they do have different function calls in the after refactoring.
Oh!
Yeah, so they're not showing the full source code. They just broke it off into methods.
I see. Okay, never mind then. That's fine. I mean,
Yeah,
it still is better to have this in methods than what it is now, but even so.
If state is equal to starting and time, if state is not starting in new data, good job on the refactoring, I would say.
Yeah, this does look much neater. You know, I would be much happier to be handed this with these as individual methods than the before. The before would be very hard to be handed. So, good job. Not even a sin, really.
Yep.
Your
Good job with
turn.
your
Your
factors.
turn.
This code is from a science fair style project during high school, but the code was a mess and took way longer to run than it should have. This is the main analysis program. Running it took 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
The
Okay.
worst part is the room calc function, as well as the hard-coded parameters at the beginning of the main function. Don't look at the imports. Let's see.
I'm
This is
still
such
opening it.
This is like the entire code base.
Oh
They
my
said the room calc
god.
function on line 181.
Whoa,
Alright.
this is long. I don't know if we could code review all of this.
This looks like some C++. This looks like a C++ developer. Just from all of that array accessing. Although, wait, this is Python, right? I guess you use
Yeah.
Python for data science as well.
Yeah, this is Python. Well, you got anything to say here?
I'm looking at the bottom of the image with the microphone
Microphone
array.
array, yeah.
I don't think I have anything to say here, unless I actually do code review.
Okay, moving on then. Show. Number 85.
This is a pen
We're
plotter.
doing well today, dude. We're doing so well today.
Minus 10. This is a pen plotter I started making, so I wouldn't have to write lecture notes myself. I hot glued the timing belts because I couldn't find any zip ties in my room. Bro, zip ties are so cheap, bro.
Yeah, you should just always have zip ties on hand. I think that about most people.
Yeah. Zip ties, duct tape, and WD-40 anywhere you go.
Yeah.
The idea of using or of making this or using this as a pen plotter is
It's
in
kinda
order to
cool.
not take lecture notes. It's kind of cool. I also like the this looks like what, two track system.
Yeah.
Looks a bit 3D printerish.
Yeah, I mean it's a similar, right? You're gonna just have basically
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
But
I mean
you could have used Scotch tape for that. You could have used duct tape. You could have used anything.
I don't mind hot glue for
Then-
this solution. I don't mind it, honestly.
I mean, it's good because it can be easily removed at least.
And it's a little bit gummy and flexible, which is my only real problem with it for this. But ultimately, yeah, I don't really hate that. Usually, I think that hot glue is the right solution for a lot of things, but I think that it's used in more situations than it ought to be. But I don't have a problem with this. Easily removed. Honestly,
Yeah.
not that bulky, not that bad to look at. Yeah, no, I have no problem with that.
What's your hot glue burn count? How many times have you burned yourself with
Dude.
hot glue?
I don't know. When I was a little kid, I was hot gluing something with my dad. I think we were using it to insulate something, and I got and it was like the hot glue. You know what I mean? Like there's hot glue, and then there's like hot glue. And I got some on my arm, and I said the frick word to my dad, and I just like looked up at him immediately with like the most like I'm sorry eyes.
I mean, I would have the same reaction if I got hot glue on my arm.
It was very, very hot, and it was like a big spot. I still have a scar. But yeah, no, the way that he just looked over at me like really? Just like
I have a scar as well on my arm from gluing some stuff.
yeah.
But I'm not sure how do you actually get hot glue on your arm?
I don't actually remember how I did it. Like looking at it now, it's like squarely in the middle of the side of my forearm, like halfway between elbow and wrist, and like the
Yeah, that's
guess-
like an odd place to.
yeah, but the on my radius bone. I have no idea, but it's like big. It's like an inch. I don't know. I think I was just like holding it, I guess. Like I was holding something relatively large. I don't know how I did it, man. But either way, it's just like a whole blob scar. The thing that I really remember about that day was both the pain of that and also looking at my dad like a deer in front of headlights.
I mean, the saying the freak word is very justifiable in that
I don't
situation.
know, man. I felt very because I don't know how it came to me. I'd never said it before. You know, they say that cursing can alleviate as much pain as praying, but that both can alleviate pain.
There was a MythBusters episode on this, like
Really? What did they find?
like that that cursing apparently does alleviate pain,
There you go.
more or less.
And so here we are. Do you want to resend that invitation, or maybe I can just click it again and it'll work? Let me see. Because apparently our
The
shared
one
chat
invitation.
broke.
Oh, shared chat broke.
Yeah. Let me fix it. Looks like it's working-ish now. Yeah.
There
okay,
we go.
Cool.
There we go.
Shared chat. Okay, nice. Nice. Should be back now. Or actually, do you have to turn it on, or is it on?
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Nice.
Okay.
So,
So, due to a somewhat recent minor inconvenience with my Voron 2.4, I needed a new printhead. This is my temporary printhead that I designed myself. It is a second version, as the first one never made it to production. I believe it can be classified as either a learning experience or a horrible abomination, or maybe both. My sins include what are not limited to: bad soldering hidden behind heat shrink tubing, That is a classic. That is honestly a classic. Using a PCB specifically designed for a different printhead and not considering cable management or screw lengths at all while designing it.
Hmm.
You may also see heatset inserts used as spacers on the screws and free-hanging contracts of the tachometer pin of the part fans, as I currently use them as 2-pin fans. I take full responsibility for my sins and will repent with the V3 design. I hope you can forgive me. And currently it doesn't even work. Okay. So let's see what they have.
I'm pulling it up. It's downloading. Give it a time. Okay, well, on its face, it looks...
Like if you were to... Oh, this is massive. If you were to look at this without any further context, right?
Mhm.
Like if you weren't explicitly told what the issues were, you wouldn't really be able to tell that
No, I would
easily.
say, like, poor cable management to some extent, but, like, it's fine, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if it works,
So,
it works, which apparently it doesn't work, so, you know, that is its own issue.
Yeah, they mentioned it was from a different issue. Bad soldering hidden by heat shrink tubes. I mean,
That's what heat shrink
what's
is
actually
for, man. That's what heat shrink is for.
Exactly. Like at some point, the soldering isn't even bad if you just wrap it in heat shrink.
Well, I don't know if I'd say that. I do think that the heat-in sets used as spacers are very funny, but, like, again, I'm fine with it, man. I just don't really care that much.
Yeah, I would classify this more as a learning experience than horrible abomination.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Okay. Let's see. During a work social thing during COVID, we were tasked with writing a limerick. I wrote it as a Java 8 stream? What? The comments above each line say how the line should be read. The last line has the right number of syllables, but the meter is off. It became part of the company's interview process? I can't picture
What?
this. I don't understand.
How do you?
Oh, is it like
It became-
tests whether something is a limerick? Or
It
no,
became
it doesn't.
part of your. No. They wrote a limerick. They're in JavaScript. I think. Wait, making this part of your company's interview process is devious.
I don't understand this. Like, I genuinely don't understand. This doesn't even read to me like a limerick.
I wrote it in as a Java 8 stream.
Why? I genuinely
don't
don't
get it either.
understand. Like I guess you're supposed to read it the way that it does in the comments, right? You know,
Yeah.
but that isn't. They knew that the last line wasn't technically a limerick.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, that's right.
understand. Like this is the thing is like. I don't understand the point of this. Like, filter objects equals items my is just a really item my. That's just like a really.
I mean, you need to read. You need to read the comments, right?
Yeah,
Stream of my
but I
tasks
am
equal
reading the
task null I.
comments. That's the
Filter
comments.
objects equal item my. Filter objects not null. Filter word ends with goal. Sorted, distinct, collect, joining, try. It is a limerick.
It is almost a limerick. I don't understand the point of this because it's not. It's not like they
Almost a
wrote
limerick.
a limerick that makes any sense. Like they were just like goal.
Do they? I mean, do they usually make sense?
Yes, limericks are usually poems.
I mean, this is a poem as well, though.
I don't know, man. It just feels like kind of random words. Some of which are like pre-coded strings to make them rhyme. I just don't understand it. Like, the point is funny. It's just not that funny to me, I guess. I don't know. Like I've seen poetry that uses code and code that uses poetry. This just feels to me like a very low effort version of either? I don't know. I mean, maybe this is mean of me. I just don't.
Bro, we're so mean. Poor
No, I
guy,
just
bro.
don't understand. Okay. I guess my point is this, and maybe this is just like a me issue, but I have known too many people who like tech aesthetically, but they don't actually like it. And they're like writing majors. So they write poems that use like random code words in them, where it's just like, if then. And they send them to me, and they're like, what do you think of this? And I'm like, I don't like it. I don't think this is very interesting. And I see this, and it feels like the opposite of that. It feels like the other side of that. It feels like someone was just like, if it fits, I could theoretically write code, including, again, arbitrary strings. Like, they're used goal for no reason, just because it rhymes with null.
It rhymes with null, yeah.
And that's, like, it's just like, okay, I mean, you could have just done the whole thing as a string then. Like, why even bother?
Yeah, so let me try. What Ellie is trying to say is that the poem itself is a poem, but the code does not add to the poem in any way. I think that's what she's trying to say.
And the poem is like also pretty arbitrary. Like
Bro,
they're using,
I like the poem.
they're
I
using
like the
try
poem, though.
and my and I. Like almost every line except one ends with a string, with an arbitrary string, so that they can just make it rhyme. Like, that's my issue with it ultimately.
You know how? Have you actually ever tried writing something like this? You know how difficult it is.
Well, if you're
I
going
think
to
you should
make
let-
the end of every line an arbitrary string, then it is trivial.
It's not arbitrary. The comments literally read what is happening.
Yeah, no. But
It
look
just
at it.
reads
Look at
what is
the
happening.
actual,
Yeah.
right? Stream of my task seagull task null I, right? So it ends in I, right? And then the next one ends in my, because that is an arbitrary string. The next one ends in null. That's the only one that doesn't use an arbitrary string. The next one ends in goal, an arbitrary string. And the next one ends in try, an arbitrary string. So the issue that I have is that it's very easy to make things rhyme when you just
Oh.
end all of them with a string that you wrote. It's not like they're finding syntax that rhymes. There's no puzzle here. There's nothing interesting going on.
I understand what you're saying. I was just taken aback by the rhymes. You know, if it rhymes, it's good. I do think I forgot that I forgot you're a musician, so I do think you have I think you're right.
It should have been rhymed keywords in the language. At least one! At least one! The fact that they didn't do even one,
There's-
it just feels like, what's even the point of doing this?
Are there even rhymed keywords in the language?
Yeah.
This is Java.
Oh, French Sageville, thank you so much for 3 months! And Wilba, thank you so much! Thank you so much for the sub. Sorry, I had to thank some people. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, try is a keyword, right?
Yeah, but I and
And
my are
if
not.
you're willing to accept slant rhymes, which I am, right? You can do next with iterators, and there's collect. You know. There's like, this is just off the top of my head, and I'm not super familiar with Java. I haven't used it in years, but like, yeah, there are a ton of rhyming keywords.
I shall default to your professional opinion, as I am not a musician.
I don't think this is yeah, I don't think this is a music issue. I just think
Or I'm not a writer. I mean, I don't know. So let me explain my thoughts. Right, my thoughts were, if it, I read the text, it rhymes. Good rhyme, I like it. I have like two, I have like 2 or 3 neurons firing there.
it just
it
seems
rhymes,
to
it's
me
good.
like it would be clever if you'd used like keywords more than just one of them, you know? And it would be kind of like, cool. I don't understand why your company would use this as part of the interview process. Like, I don't know what that would tell you about someone's abilities. Rob Lee, thank you so much for the gifted sub. I'm sorry, I know that this is coming off as mean, but I just like,
2,521.
I just find this disappointing. I think it was a cute concept, and I wish that you'd tried a little harder.
You can do better.
Yeah.
interview question would be to figure out what it prints in the console. I think even a non-programmer could
Yeah.
figure out what was printed in the console.
Yeah, I think there's no one in chat right now who could not figure that out. Okay, next. Father Ellie, please forgive me, om nom nom, for getting Mountain Dew all over my multimeter leads for a pun. Okay, this kind of rocks though. I don't think you've sinned. I think you're pretty cool and I like you. I think this is cute.
Demonstrate the conductivity of Mountain Dew. Of Mountain Dew voltage?
It's Mountain Dew voltage, yeah. See? I think this is cute. I think this is cute.
I think so too.
And now we have our answer.
Hi, Father. It's Omnom again. I seem to be coming back here a lot. While I don't hold the marker myself and write this, I sat there in the meeting and allowed it to happen. I acquiesced. Please forgive me and the shame I have brought to our profession.
Wait.
Oh my god, this is great. This is
Blockchain,
great.
machine learning, AI, robotics.
Robotics. Terrifying. Lose their jobs. How you use it. Value of data collection. The process speed efficiency of data. Physical use.
Dude, I used to build interactive museum pieces, like sort of like one-off robotics, like large-scale robotics pieces for museums. And I was once in a meeting where they were just like throwing so much information at me so fast, and this thing was like a thing that kids were supposed to be able to like sit on and like engage with in a certain way. And like I was just scribbling down notes as fast as I could, and when I looked at the page later, I had like one page of notes that just had in giant letters like, "How big is a kid?" And this is kind of a similar vibe, I feel.
Yeah, but this is classic corporate. Like we need to add, first of all, blockchain at the bottom and deep learning.
Deep learning.
What is this supposed to be? Like, what is this? This a pyramid?
Value of
Like-
data collection. Yeah, I mean, I like that robotics is the top of the pyramid.
Yeah. So is robotics terrifying, or is the entire pyramid terrifying?
I don't find the pyramid especially terrifying, but I really enjoy that there's just like a lone, just like a zero circled in the top. Like, do you see what I mean? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this? Is this just an egg?
This looks like a business major wrote this.
Oh yeah, no one with a technical degree was responsible for this.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, Nom Nom. That is not your fault, and I'm sorry you had to be there. Okay. Father, I deserve no forgiveness. I was a junior in college. It's supposed to be a rule of Goldberg. I somehow thought the source code and circuit schematic were worth uploading.
This is so cute.
Yeah,
Okay, this
honestly,
is so cute.
again, based. The fact that you were just like building a little Rube Goldberg for fun, based. I don't think you've got a thing to repent for.
Hi, this is Rachel's. I will pick it up tomorrow. Couldn't I get outside in the rain? Oh.
Low key docs, but I think this is cute.
I think this is cute as well. A junior in college.
Mhm.
So maybe project or science fair or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, wow. Note, the real name used by this email and associated accounts is purely an online alternate personality. No evidence can be produced for this story for obvious reasons? That's ominous. Wait, what does that mean? In my
I have no
early
idea.
career, I found myself writing code primarily in a SCIF for mission-critical SATCOM, GPS, and related things. The amount of stress of the environment and the amount of review and attention put on everything I did was soul-crushing. Oh my god, I know. Fortunately, I eventually found myself working more in research, modeling, simulation, etc., with actual interest, internet access, and a window. Yes, sweet god, sweet god. That's why I want to be in R&D basically forever at this point. In this environment that maybe I got a little weird, but hey, a girl's gotta find some measure of joy in the industry. I don't know exactly what compelled me to do this. Maybe I just needed to blow off steam. Maybe I was curious how far I could take it, or maybe I was just bored. But I was in a relative silo, yes, God, same, and as long as whatever I did worked, no one paid too much attention. I had the bright idea one day to just start shoehorning in every esoteric data structure algorithm I had in my brain into whatever I was doing. I made a literal bucket list and started crossing things off when a pull request actually merged positively giddy that the men around me just seemed to be rubber stamping my musings. Did they know? Did they even read it? It started small, a completely unnecessary circularly linked list in a convoluted series of rewindable finite state machines. So many intentionally obfuscated regular expressions. The memento pattern. But by the end, it was ridiculous. So those others weren't ridiculous. Did I need to use a Bloom filter? Was anything gained by implementing ant colony optimization? Maybe a bit of my sanity, but functionally, no. Was a finger tree really the right answer? Okay, that one I stand by. Fight me. After all of this, I am somehow finding myself on my way back to CIF on the other side of the country, far from my safe place, hiding random Easter eggs of ridiculous, over-engineered sparks of joy. May God have mercy on my soul. Yeah,
Someone
I love
is gonna
you.
find it, right? Someone
Who
is
are
gonna
you?
find
Be my
those
best
things.
friend. How? DM me. I want to be your best friend. I love you. Hi. We can talk about this experience, which really I feel so much camaraderie with.
And this was in an SCIF. This was in an SCIF.
Right? Hi. Anyway, I love you. Okay, bye. Okay, next one.
They're gonna hire some guy in like a couple months. And
Who's
then
just
he's
gonna look at all of this and just be like, this job is too hard for me.
yeah. I briefly consulted on a project for my now roommate, given only the information that, quote, it involves a pair of headlights. This project, in my opinion, an affront to God and robot Jesus, is documented here. The cat lamp, short for the catalytic converter lamp, is composed of a 25-pound weight with several diameters of upright pipe welded on to serve as a mounting point for a catalytic converter. Zip tied to this is a 3D printed housing containing a generic 480 watt power supply, which puts out 12 volts DC through wires routed up the side. These wires power a pair of headlights from an import sedan, as well as a small magnetic rotating light. A traffic cone was intended to cover the base, but unfortunately couldn't be made to fit. All parts were purchased or otherwise sourced ethically. So what I'm saying is that you didn't steal the
They
traffic
didn't
cone.
steal these parts from cars. Amazing. Thank you.
The lamp currently resides in the creator and I's living room as a permanent edifice to mankind's contempt for the divine. Let's see what they uploaded. Oh, they have a movie.
They have a movie.
Oh, it's never mind. It's an image. The
Oh.
movie's,
Oh, I see.
This is like modern art. Like, people would pay millions for this.
Yo, this is modern art, though. This looks terrible, though. Like not to be weird, but like it spins. Like I feel like I would get a headache sitting in that room. It's just like a bright spinning light.
Also, can I mention that traffic cone looks kind of worn out?
Yeah, I don't believe that you sourced that ethically. I think you found that.
It looks kind of worn out, you know. I don't think.
Looks like it's
I don't
seen
think they sell
road use,
secondhand. Yeah, secondhand traffic cone.
Oh, okay. Many years ago, I took a class in compilers. We worked in teams and spent the whole semester writing a compiler for a simple programming language. Our goal was to compile programs to x86 assembly code, optimized so that the output ran as fast as possible. We did that, not a goal. Making the compilation process itself faster efficient, so we didn't do that. Okay, fair. The compiler worked by making an internal representation of the program it was compiling and then applying a series of transformations to that representation to speed it up and eventually turn it into working code on the other side. To help us understand what was going on, we told the compiler to give us graphs of the internal representation and at every step of the process. But because we didn't care about making the compilation process fast, it never really mattered how big those graphs got, which is how this thing came about. For your safety and mine, I can't show you the entire graph. The image on the left is just a small selection. The full graph contains about 18,000 nodes, and if you printed it out, it would cover about half an Olympic-sized swimming pool. My PDF viewer refuses to zoom out enough to render the entire thing. We don't know what would happen if a human eye ever saw the whole graph at once, but the working theory is that they would die on the spot or become a compiler themselves. On the top right, you might notice the nodes labeled NOP. This means do nothing. There are a few hundred of these on the graph. The lowercase NOP in an ellipse means do nothing. The uppercase NOP in a rectangle means do nothing. Where there's a NOP in a rectangle pointing to a NOP in an ellipse, that means do nothing twice. Where there's a NOP with a bunch of overlapping arrows coming into it at a point at it. Oh my god, wait. That means that a lot of different parts of the program all want to do the exact same nothing. I don't remember why. I may never have understood. The horizontal bands of orange are a bunch of different parts of the program accessing the same memory, probably because of the parallelization optimization. I went into a trance for that week of the project, and when I regained consciousness, I had implemented this thing. It worked and gave us a big performance boost, and I'm at least 30% sure it was actually me who wrote it and not a demon possessing me. The thing in the bottom right was probably just a bug in the graph rendering code, and we never cared enough to fix him round. I'm not sorry, and I would do it again. You can't stop me.
Looking at this image while you read everything out loud was... I just opened it now.
Oh my god. Wait, chat, I'm pulling it up now.
Can we zoom in here? Is this readable?
Him round.
Average formal
methods.
methods.
The same nothing at once.
Average formal methods engineer.
Oh my god, this is incredible. This is This looks like some kind of ancient script. And this is only a tiny piece of it. It would fill like, what was it? Like half of an Olympic-sized swimming pool. Dude, my cheeks hurt. Yeah, this person also, if you want to be friends, hit me up. Okay. Next one. This one's yours.
Let's see. When I was younger, I wrote a crappy AutoHotkey macro plus Discord bot to collect images of cat girls, parentheses, SFW, from another Discord bot, probably costing that other bot's owner over 20 times as much as a normal user. Looking back on it now, I don't understand why I didn't just go on the Google. I think I was trying to do everything in my power to avoid making human contact and asking the bot hoster to share their folder. The good news is I did...
in their logs too.
I did collect all of them, and the bot has been slumbering peacefully undisturbed ever since. The bad news is that I'm still just as autistic, and now I play Arknights. So I still roll the dice for JPEGs of women with animal ears. Also now also men. The more things change, the more they stay the same. I understand that at the scale of AI and Big Corpo, my sin is like popping in a landfill, so I do not ask for forgiveness, but for understanding. And they have an imgur link.
I'm not clicking on that. But I believe you.
It's just some logs. It's just some logs. They
Oh,
wrote
okay,
a
okay.
script. Yeah, to probably just send out a command to the cat girl bot to get more cat girls or something.
Hey, listen, it's fine. We all have our vices. We get it. You don't have to explain yourself to us.
Yeah. He also wrote in parentheses. He uploaded the evidence to Imgur, and he wrote in parentheses, Google Drive uploads shall not dox me this time.
Oh god, thank god he's finally doing good OPSEC. So
Yeah. My mic has been backwards since I got it in April 2024.
wait. Have you already moved on from the cat girl one? I don't think I was ready. Okay. My mic
I
has been
moved on from the
backwards
cat girl
since I
one.
got it. Okay, let's see. Oh my god. Very aesthetic though. My Lanta, you got a prettier streamer setup than I do. Good gracious.
My mic has been backwards as well.
Wait a second. I
Oh,
know
you-
that background. Is this Amasharku?
Yeah.
Wait, is this her?
Yeah, this is her setup apparently.
Oh my god.
Honestly, base setup. I think
Yeah.
this was a small setup flex.
Yeah, like actually though, I'm kind of jealous. Oh, she's even got like the echo cancellation up behind her monitors. This is just so cute.
Mhm.
Honestly, yeah, at the end of the day, I'm just impressed. And she's got an extra cushion. Man, I bet when she did a subathon, her butt wasn't bruised.
I'm not gonna say anything about that. We can move on.
What?
I wanted to make a mod loader for a game, but I couldn't. Oh, there we go. Finally, someone who understands me. But I couldn't find any working embeddable scripting languages that worked with the language the game was written in. Nim? Nim is a language?
Yeah.
Okay. So I decided to use JSON as a scripting language. The interpreter was a giant 1,000-line switch case on the type property. Huh? What? Wait, they have
Tony,
a
thank you so
an
much for the
image. Let me
press
open
up.
it up so I know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I'm also gonna pull it up because I'm not really following.
There's no way you wrote this, bro. There's no way you wrote this.
What happened?
Hold on,
It's still
it's
downloading for me. What is it? Give me spoilers.
Okay, so they used JSON, and they have basically every instruction is like a thing in a JSON array, an object in a
Yeah,
JSON array.
Yeah, I can see that.
Type iterate. Iterator iter start value -5
Yeah.
and value 5.
And it's basically just a fancy JSON parser, kind of, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So the attached image is an example of a function definition that shows the syntax left and the JavaScript equivalent on the right. The way that it worked was as follows. All values were either a float or a color. Strings would be evaluated as a color or a math expression. Okay, so let me get this straight. The game couldn't use any working embeddable script language, right? You couldn't find any working embeddable script language that worked with NIM. So you decided to use JSON.
That seems like the shape of it.
And the interpreter was a giant 1,000-line switch case on the type property. What was the interpreter written in? Because if you couldn't find any embeddable scripting language
right?
that worked with the game, what was the interpreter written in for JSON?
So
Like, surely you could have written this in the same, probably NIM, but
then why
they could have
couldn't
written
you
this
just
in NIM then.
write
Yeah.
this in NIM?
Yeah, well,
Huh, okay. Oh, this is a poem. I like this. Okay. When I first competed in a RoboWar, BattleBots-like thingy, I used an old FSCT-6B as the remote, in which some axes were broken. So I had to use only the channels that worked. The controls were horrible. The right stick, forwards, backwards, will control the right motor. Makes sense so far. The left stick, left, right, will control the left motor. This doesn't seem that bad, but in the heat of battle, you forget what combo turns the thing and how to move forward. And on top of that, there were the added bugs. Like, when you tell it to move left, it still moves forward when it wants. Not all the time either. Anyway, we lost the Robo War. The body of the robot was built pretty solid. By the way, we were like 40 minutes late to the competitions. They didn't even check the weight or anything, but we were definitely overweight. Oh, we should mention we lost because the motors broke. Okay, so here's what I'm going to say about this. Robots are so expensive, especially competing in BattleBots. Your total price for your total cost for parts is insane. It's so much, right? It's so much money. How was there no room in the budget for a controller? That's the cheapest part.
And I mean, surely this could have been fixed in software, right? Surely there could have been some software fix.
Well, I mean, if you don't have control over like front and back on one of the joysticks, then you can't use it, even if, you know, like you can't remap that in software if like the control itself doesn't exist.
Yeah, but one of the sticks using up and down and the other one using left and right.
Yui, thank you so much for the 5 gifted. I assumed that meant that the one that was using up and the one that was using left and right didn't have up and down. Like the controller was broken and that input didn't work. I assumed anyway.
Then they would have used left and right for both the left stick and the right stick, right?
Well, I assumed that one didn't work on one and the other didn't work on the other, and so they had to have them inconsistent.
Oh, that's how these controllers work, right? For like drones and stuff.
Well, it also, they say that it was in which some axes were broken. So I assumed that meant that they used the ones that weren't broken. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But still having motors on 2 separate.
Yeah, it's pretty cursed. It's pretty cursed. I'm just amazed that there was no just buy a new controller. They're so cheap. They are so cheap. Isiver Wasp, thank you so much for the tier 3. Okay.
So
Next one.
Yes. I plugged the leak on a cooling water pipe with my glove.
This held for a month? Oh my god. Yeah, I do hate this. Yeah, I do hate this. I can't believe this held for a month. That's the most impressive part to me.
Why wouldn't it hold, actually? Like, you could use this as a permanent solution.
No, you couldn't.
Okay, like a semi-permanent solution. Like a semi-permanent solution.
Okay.
You sound judgmental.
I'm sorry.
You could use, like a semi-permanent solution. I mean, 1 month is semi-permanent, right?
Yeah, no, and it did hold, so maybe you're right and I'm wrong.
Yeah, also they have something around it, like they just put the glove there and let it stay there. They have something around it, so...
Dude, you're not gonna like this one. I think you should have to read this one.
On the study of neural networks, I made one, but instead of neuron web used binary...
Wait,
what?
you just skipped it!
No. I'm reading the next one.
You skipped it!
But...
If you won't read it, I will. Hi, this is Anonymous, right? I take showers with Alex as background music. As for the actual sin on the study... Oh, okay. But you skipped that part.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was reading that. Instead of neuron web based... Oh, sorry, my brain like dies every time I try to read that sentence. Instead of neuron web used binary trees, the algo would go through each node and do a binary logic calculation like XOR to know the state it's supposed to have. 1 tree for every output.
Man,
it would
that's
run from the
interesting.
end to the beginning
You say
and back
Zor.
to the end.
I've always said XOR.
XOR? I say XOR.
Interesting. Sorry,
I have
continue.
XOR and XAND, you know?
I always said
XOR
XOR and XN. Yeah.
It's XOR, bro.
I don't know, man. You go ahead. Keep going.
It'll run from the end to the beginning and back to the end, saving every call of every node in the runtime. It worked for doing math of binary numbers. Sometimes it learned. It almost burned my CPU. This was at the beginning of the new year, so I don't have images, but it displayed rainbow pixelated pyramids. Great.
Well,
I don't think we have. There was no reason to show the image.
nope. Okay.
There's no reason to.
No reason to show that image. So we are on number 100. I'm just saying, dude, we're killing it. We're killing it.
Yeah, we've done like what 50. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. I used to go to the most prestigious computer science school in my country, and one day we had to deconstruct and reconstruct an old PC on a timer for a grade. So I wanted to impress my professor. However, I got unlucky with the PC they gave me, as it had a bent frame. So while reconstructing, I cut my hand and started bleeding, so obviously, as a normal, stable human would, I kept going. Yeah, I absolutely would keep going. You know, like time heals all wounds and all that, but as the timer sure wasn't healing my grade. Know what I mean? I even tried to painfully unbend the sharp frame with my bleeding hands as the tools weren't small enough, causing some blood to get in the hardware in case.
No.
Somehow, after my hand looked like it was a dog's chew toy, the PC still turned on, and I still managed to finish as one of the fastest times. Yo! Oh my god, you're so cool. Out of like 30 people, not sure if I'm proud of almost destroying a school PC with my own blood, but I guess not many people can say that. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think this just rocks. I think you're a soldier, a warrior, and I think you fought bravely that day.
Time heals all wounds.
Red makes it go faster. Exactly. Nah. This person rocks.
Yeah, blood for the PC god.
Your turn.
My turn. I'm confessing by not passing the JSON in a proper way in React. Can we skip this one? Do we care about people who use React?
Why
Wait.
are you so
do you use React?
mean?
Wait, you don't use React, do you?
No,
I hope I didn't
I'm
hit you
a
as
robotics
collateral.
engineer. When would I use React?
Look at the screenshot and then you will know why I'm so mean. Just look at the screenshot.
Okay, I'm pulling it up.
Also,
Oh, that's pretty. Yeah, that's not aesthetic.
yeah, share chat ended again.
No, why does it keep doing that?
It's just bad.
Okay, I'm gonna rejoin.
There we go.
Oh, thanks for resending it. That's very convenient.
This time it disconnected me, so I had to make a new one. There we go. Yeah, so this is the screenshot that this person uploaded. And if you take a look at it, you will know why I hate React.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking at this. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yep. I think Dreambird had some really cool ideas for a replacement for use state.
Mm-hmm. What is it? I don't know Dreambird.
Oh no, I was making a reference. Dreambird is a joke.
Oh.
It's a joke programming language.
I don't know it.
But it's name of student. First name said first name. Middle name said middle name.
Yeah, that's brutal. So.
This is why we should skip
Oh,
it.
this is long.
I'm not reading that. I would not be able to read that without stuttering like 20 times. I'm not reading that.
I'll stutter. I don't care. They've heard me stutter before. They'll hear me again. Okay, background. I had just finished an economics degree with an introductory course on C# and data management with SQL. I got invited to an internship at one of the big name finance companies. Congrats! In the interview, I remember being asked if I had used VBA, Visual Basic for Applications, but I heard VBS, and I thought they meant Visual Studio, which for some reason I thought was called Visual Basic Studio. It isn't. It's just Visual Studio. So I said yes, because I had in fact used Visual Studio for the C# course. They didn't hold any coding tests. Oh no. And it wasn't going to be one of my main tasks, so it didn't come up again. Fast forward to my first couple weeks when I got told my responsibilities would be automating our client reports in Excel with VBA. Up until that point, I had never even heard of VBA, so I had to start learning VBA on the fly. End result, client reports did get automated. My coding masterpiece worked like this. Take all the files that had the necessary information for the report and paste them into a single folder called input. Open the Excel file for each report and press a big orange start button on the first Excel sheet. Wait for the macro to open. All all the files and copy paste all the values from the cells onto the report template and wait for the calculations to finish. Delete the first sheet and voila! One finished report ready to be sent to a client. And then just repeat the process for each client. The good? It worked for the duration I was there, and I left my coworkers with a long instruction document explaining my code. So hopefully they wouldn't be completely out of luck if it stops working. The bad, it was an embarrassing 100% hard-coded mess by a complete beginner with no checks, fail-safes, or error messages. All Excel cell data locations were hard-coded, so if any of the files used as input ever changed in any way, reordering dates or deleting, adding columns, rows, the macro would just continue to copy-paste as usual. It had no way of checking if the input files were correct, if they were up to date, etc., unless you manually checked the files every time. There was no way to know if the report output by the code was accurate. I also gave YonDev a run for his money, every single line of code under main, with no subs, no loops, except for, some math formulas that I copied from the internet to do the calculations. Otherwise, I only used if-then-else statements with a bunch of hard-coded cell data locations. One thing I do remember from my C# course was the importance of comments and explaining the code. So I left a comment above every single line of code explaining what it does. I genuinely mean every single line. I remember having a notepad file from which I would copy explanations because I got tired of writing comments on how if statements work. This happened in 2019 to 2020. I wish I had some pictures, but I have no funny evidence to share, and technically I think it would still be under NDA. Not that anyone would benefit from the code. My gods, I'm sorry for my sins with all of my heart in choosing to do wrong and failing to do good. I have sinned against you, whom I should love above all things. I firmly intend with your help to do penance, to sin no more, and to avoid whatever leads me to sin.
Oh my god, bro. Correct. I got tired of explaining how if statements work, so I wrote in Notepad and copied from there every single time.
Every line! Every line! This is awesome. This is awesome. You've been very brave sharing this with us today, and I would like to thank you for it.
Honestly, learning VBA on the fly like that's kind of that's very based.
Yeah.
That you're able to learn that.
Yeah, honestly, like this is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's funny, but it's impressive.
And if you're using the language for the first time,
yeah, no, and like they had barely coded before. They took one coding class. They got a coding challenge thrown at them in a language they'd never used for an application they'd never used, and they went for it. They did it, and they made something that worked. And I just find this kind of cool and impressive. I'm not judging you, man. Like it's very funny.
I kind of agree.
But yeah. Okay. Next one is yours.
Yes. Bless me. Wait, hold on. Let me. Let's go. Bless me, guys, for I have sinned. I think father is a gender neutral term here, so you could have used that.
Yeah.
For work, I once created and ran an automation where users would post a message with specific format and keywords in a Teams chat. Power Automate gets triggered by this and creates a file in a specific OneDrive with the message content. That OneDrive folder is set up to auto-sync on a laptop that is connected to the company net via VPN. A Python script on that laptop constantly checks for new files and parses the contents. The Python script triggers an AHK, an auto hotkey script that opens a web page, logs in with credentials, and does a whole bunch of navigating and using our company's internal systems web interface by clicking buttons according to the parsed message content. This generates dozens to hundreds of files which are renamed and moved from the downloads folder to a very specific shared network drive. A success or error message is sent back up to the change of the user from the Python script to it's appended to the OneDrive file, and then Power Automate grabs it, and then it gets sent back to Team Chat.
This is incredible.
I mean, using Power Automate using Power Automate instead of making a Teams. Can you even make bots for Teams?
You can, yeah.
You can. Using Power Automate to receive messages from Teams is kind of funny. And then using the OneDrive
Right?
to sync over OneDrive, like when use a webhook or something, or
This is
I don't know,
incredible.
an endpoint.
I believe this must have been the fastest way to do this, or they wouldn't have done it, right?
You think so? It seems like there's a bunch of extra steps here.
I don't know. I think there must have just been like pre-written code to like move things to a OneDrive. You know?
Not sure. They also have an auto hotkey script to open a web
No,
page,
you're
log in
right,
with
dude. You're
credentials.
so right.
Like what?
Why would you do that? Okay, no.
Yeah, and they say this. That's just the main process, and it had even more ridiculous sins, which I'm leaving out for brevity. This was pretty cursed, but it ran in production for many months, and everyone was happy with it. Mostly because
scariest
no one
thing-
knew
Oh, sorry. Go
how
ahead.
cursed it was.
The scariest thing about
Oh,
this
no,
stream
really.
is realizing just how many of these things were like in prod. That's the
What big
scariest part
companies.
about these. So,
So
this
what
one
does
is-
this one say?
this one should be yours. Because it's a game one. So,
Oh, Minecraft. Context. Most Minecraft plugin frameworks are mono-threaded. Folia is multi-threaded. My plugin is not thread safe and I'm too lazy to work on it. I just removed the right part, so the config only has read when the server is Folia. Let's see what this says.
oh, I like the file name. Just .png.
So this is the code.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like good code. You get an LGTM. If this was a pull request review, I would instantly approve and merge this pull request. Not much more I can say here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you heard it here first.
All right. Next person says this. As a server and network guy, one might assume my biggest sin would be related to that. But unfortunately, the sin is a simple PowerShell script, and it might not be the biggest sin ever, and I don't know if I should even submit it. But to this day, I wonder how sleep deprived I had to be to write this. Oh my god, I opened the screenshot. The first iteration of the script had some quirks. Let me show this.
Oh, let me pull it up. Cringe script. Oh. Okay.
So the first iteration had some quirks. I give the script a path and it returns to me all the existing subfolders in the path, plus parts of the path as a CSV.
Huh.
Instead of splitting the path on the backslash and stitching together things I need, I decided to split the path into parent, the given path, and the
Jackson, thank
leaf,
you so much for 12 months. I can't
and then
believe
grab
that.
the last 11 characters from the parent, which meant I didn't get the correct info. This is really incredibly hard-coded.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I don't know. I honestly think they're...
What I think is really funny is that they're using like the user profile environment variable, but then they have the hard-coded path of desktop PS scripts order. Like, but they have the user profile as an environment variable.
Like, my friend, why wouldn't you... Yeah. No. So...
Also, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Just writing PowerShell like this. And there's also no indentation.
Yeah, it's pretty bad to look at. Here, wait, I can bring it back up. I made it invisible after a little while. Yeah, I mean it could be refactored quite a bit and reformatted as well. Yeah, I don't know, but this isn't what they do, you know? Like this isn't their field. I think this is fine.
Yeah.
Although, actually, wait, this is a server and network guy. Wouldn't it be writing,
Yeah.
like, shell scripts all the time?
You wouldn't be writing PowerShell scripts though, right? If you're a
Well,
server
no,
and
but
network
he
guy,
should
surely
know.
you're
Like, PowerShell is a
not
different...
networking on Windows.
The syntax is different, but, like, he should know things like... he wouldn't need to hard code the directory. He could just like get the directory he's in. Those are things that I think that a server and network guy should know.
He does mention that this is the first iteration of the script, so he did improve upon it. He gave us
but it just seems like a weird impulse for a guy who's a server and
the
network
raw
guy.
output.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's move on to 106. One of the first devices we sell has a RAM fragmentation problem. For those viewers who are unfamiliar, that means that even if it has plenty of memory available, that free RAM might be spread out in tiny pockets, diagram attached. This means that if we need, say, a big array, there might not be enough pocket of free RAM to fit it in. On PCs, the processor usually has hardware for virtual memory, which lets it avoid this problem by allowing it to rearrange memory even as a program is running, but on a small embedded microcontroller, this is impossible. We didn't notice this problem during development because the memory only fragments slowly over time, so our device would run for 3 or 4 days without a problem, but then around day 5, all of a sudden, memory allocations start to fail and it locks up. Experienced embedded developers, know not to use dynamic memory allocation, or at least to be very careful with it for this reason, but I was young and stupid. We could have re-architected the code to statically allocate all memory at boot up instead of using dynamic memory allocations, yes, and that would have fixed the problem, but that would take time and effort, which wouldn't... Take time and effort is setting it to reboot automatically every 3 days. I also optimized its boot up time a little so it'd only be down for a few seconds. It's been years, nobody has noticed. I die inside every time I think about it. It's crazy how many of these just come down to like, it's like how many of these just come down to like, yeah, you turn it off and on again when people aren't looking.
They optimized it.
That's so painful. Okay, yeah. Let this be a reminder. When you are working on anything embedded, at least think very hard about using dynamic memory allocation. Okay? You're welcome. Okay. I would like to rescind my previous submission if possible. Unfortunately, I do not have another point of contact to submit this request through. Thank you. Oh no, I'm very sorry. I don't know what yours was, but we probably did it. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, we also don't know who's submitting this.
Yeah. Oh, poor person. I'm very sorry. We would have respected this had we known. I am so sorry. In the future, if there is anything like this, would you please reach out to my mod and give some information about what your submission was? And then one of my mods could possibly go through the submissions and remove it. But yeah, we're going through these sequentially, so we had no chance. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, this one's yours.
So I use about 1 kilogram of silica. Oh my god, these are some really complicated ones.
Desiccant.
I use about 1 kilogram of silica desiccant beads to keep my printer filament dry, and over time they absorb moisture and need to be dried out and reused. The best way to do this is an oven, but at the time I lived at home and my mom didn't want me to use any of the cookware for this, so I made a little bowl out of tin foil for this purpose. It seemed pretty sturdy until I went to take it out of the oven and this happened. You put...
Wait, this is a YouTube Shorts link. Wait.
The image is also a hack image.
Oh god, it's just all over everything. Oh, they've rolled everywhere. Oh, that's hard, man. That's hard. I use my oven for all kinds of things, mostly redrying desiccants and also drying bugs for preservation. I've only ever used my oven once for actually baking something.
Wait.
To eat. Well, actually, no, 3 times because I did cookies twice and then I did cornbread once. So yeah, 3 times for food.
So you dry out bugs for preservation?
Well, not all bugs and not all parts, and you use very low heat, obviously. But yeah, that's part of the preservation process for certain kinds of bugs.
Okay.
If you're preserving something especially meaty, like cicadas, they're not gonna dry naturally. You're gonna get like rotting bug meat in there. If it's something very, very light with very little bug meat inside of it, then I'm not gonna bother drying it in an oven. But yeah.
You sound like a psychopath, but okay.
Luther, thank you so much for the sub.
I'm not privy to the bug enthusiasts, you know, to the to the bug enthusiast community.
Well, my work is beautiful, I would have you know. And if you saw some of my preserved bugs, you would think, beautiful job, Ellie. That's beautiful. People mount deer heads on their walls. It's not that different.
Yeah, but sure, like everyone knows that people mount deer heads on their walls, right? I think this is the first time that I've heard someone say, "Oh, I cook bugs to preserve them."
It's taxidermy, you know? You're performing taxidermy on a different kind of animal, and so it's a different process.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. That makes sense then.
Yeah, no, it's just a way of drying them out to preserve them.
For the silica guy here,
Yes.
you should use a I saw him holding like what was like a mop or something. You should be using a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, that would also work. Anyway, let's move on, now that my feelings are hurt.
I'm sorry, Ellie.
No, I'm kidding.
I was not privy. Okay. then I'm not sorry.
I'm a girl who collects bugs. I know it's weird. You're good.
My high school robotics team asks me to make parts for them from time to time since I work as a machinist. This part needed 2 holes drilled and tapped into each end, which I would normally use one of our 5-axis machines to do. The problem was that both of them were being used. So I did what I had to do. What is this?
Oh, I see.
Oh! They used the drill.
Just use the drill.
Yeah, they
Yeah, okay. Here, wait, I can pull up the picture. I didn't even pull up the
They're all
picture. I should have
dogging
done that. We have a 5-axis at home. The 5-axis at home.
The 2 marks are the positions I need to drill, and the mark circled in green is the absolute maximum travel of the machine. Okay. The part was so tall when standing up, so that in order to get the drill to reach over it, I had to cut it in half and regrind the drill point by hand, bro.
Look at it. Oh my god, wait, I'm zooming in on it. Look at it. Just use a drill press at this point. Absolutely incredible. No notes. We have a 5-axis at home.
Surely this must mean they said that they were successful, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like at this point, the 5-axis is it's just luxury.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay.
back in my day, we didn't have 5-axes. Oh, what is this? I
a
got a
little
little careless and let.
Oh, go ahead.
You can take this.
No.
Okay.
No,
I got a little careless and let the wire wheel. Oh no! What am I reading? I let the wire wheel on my angle grinder have meat cute with my hand. Oh no!
Is this just gore? Is this just gonna be gore?
Yeah, don't open the image.
Yeah, it's just gore. It's just someone's hand absolutely wire wheeled is the best way I could put it. Yeah.
So this was one or 2 weeks after the incident, apparently.
Dude, angle grinders are scary, but they're also very cool. Very powerful. So much power.
Bro, you have to be careful, bro. Genuinely.
Okay. This is a video I sent to my friend shortly after making this. All I'm going to say is that yes, a piece of wood on the top, and no, that is a piece of wood on the top, and no, I did not think about the implications of that. Being said, it worked really well. Okay, this is also a video.
DIY. Look at the title. DIY electric ignition blowtorch.
Oh my god!
Violation that I made today.
They made a blowtorch with a piece of
Here are
wood
the little prongs I was telling you about.
holding the
There's
holding the starter.
electricity arcs between them, and after you turn on the gas, and then it just starts the fire. 1 second.
OSHA violations.
Here we go. Here's a little barbecue igniter. It makes a little arc between the connect the two.
Oh my god.
And then they arc. I hope that comes up on the video.
Yep. They are actually using two pieces of metal embedded in a block of wood for
Alright,
the
so
arc
here
that
is the,
starts the fire on this blowtorch.
OSHA violation.
OSHA violation indeed. This wasn't Wolf, I don't
Oh
think.
my god.
This was ready, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, horrific. Oh, this is another YouTube Shorts. Okay, it looks like we've got like a... Oh. Looks
They
like
didn't
we're
write
making
anything.
cotton candy, boys. We're having cotton candy for dinner. I love Lathe cotton candy. That's my favorite kind. Okay, let me pull this up so that it can be viewed. I'm not totally sure how to do this. Let me see. If I just like type in the like browser source and it's this page, it'll just show it, right?
I just switched to a desktop source for this. So I'm not sure. I'm not a streamer.
That'll work.
It looks tasty.
Yeah, that's just cotton candy, man. That's just how you make cotton candy. Delicious. I love the Lathe cotton candy. Okay. Dear Father Alex and Sister Ellie, I hope this message finds you well. As a follower of the Church of Alex EJ Hero Devism, I aspire to only write immaculate code and would never knowingly resort to any irresponsible engineering practices. However, some of my endeavors were met with criticism from my peers. Here's one such example. The Sunburninator TM, see attached picture, started its life as a plain old office job site floodlight, providing broadband illumination on the visible spectrum. As it was not getting much use, it underwent some plier-enabled surgery in order to accommodate a 450-watt mercury vapor bulb and a cheap high-power ballast. Today, the Sunburninator TM has found a new purpose as a large broadband UV multi-purpose lamp emitting light all the way down to 280 nanometers. The Sunburninator TM will cause sunburns and will singe your eyeballs, so it's best not to be near the operational end of the device when in use. The Sunburninator TM is a fantastic source of UVA and UVB for the money. My peers claimed it was somehow improper or dangerous for one to hack together UV lamps at home in any fashion. I am, however, seeking your help in discerning whether I have sinned, and if so, how to seek forgiveness and move forward. Thank you for your time, prayers, and counsel. I trust in the engineering god's mercy and look forward to your guidance. Okay, so, just in terms of how this thing is put together, it's not all that different from how my friends and I in college built an IPL device to remove all the hair from our bodies. So I can't properly call it a sin.
Sunburnator TM?
Yeah, Sunburninator.
Sunburninator? I don't think this is safe. I don't think this is safe.
But consider never having to shave your legs again with minimal scarring.
Well, they do say that the reason why they made this, right? It started as a floodlight, and it wasn't getting much use. So, do they mention the purpose of the Sunburnator TM here?
They don't. They say it's a good source of UVA and UVB for the money, but they don't say what they're using that UVA or UVB for.
So we can only speculate then.
Curing resin, maybe? Yeah, that could be. Okay, your turn. Kill vampires.
I did not cross my mind at the time that naming a repository in my native language could have possible negative connotations in English. Oh, they had their repo named in their native language, and apparently... Believe it or not, I'm in fact not calling my project a harlot. Rather, slut means end. This repo is simply named end project. Beware when naming your repos.
Whoa! Oh god, okay, so they had a repo named Slut Project.
But project is with a K, so you know it's in a foreign language. At least.
That's great. I like this. No notes, no sins.
Oh, what is this? The clock nightlight TARDIS thing was designed with the assumption that the sides of the box, apart from the windows, would be opaque. Acrylic is not. It ended up with a wiring spaghetti and other components visible when the nightlight is turned on.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I've seen projects like this. Huge shame.
Side
I'm
note.
sorry.
The thing was submitted as for an assignment in school and was supposed to be released back to me after the semester, but I never got it back.
They kept it. Clearly
this
not
was
as bad as
the
you
ni-
think.
The nightlight TARDIS box?
Yeah, I guess they kept it.
We had a part on a robot that we 3D printed, and at least one of the 4 broke every match. If 2, 3 of the 4 broke, we would be unable to do anything. But instead of making the part with better material or redesigning it, we just printed around 120 of them and replaced them after every match for 3 months. Let's go. That's like
Honestly,
the best way.
Yeah, I'm good with that. You've got strict weight
Yeah.
limits, man. Maybe you couldn't redesign it. Maybe this was the best solution. Just make it disposable, man. I don't have a problem with this. I think this rocks.
And they still managed to get second in their state.
Yeah. So, you know.
I mean, we had we were doing the same things because our robot wasn't that great. It wasn't that well designed, and we had some gears that would keep losing teeth. So what we did is we went to the like on the day we had like a full box of like 50 or something of those gears. And we would completely take apart the entire robot and put it back together because the gear was in the center connected to like a motor. We would take apart the whole robot and put it back together after every match to just change the 1 gear or 2 gears.
Yeah, no, I'm good with that, man.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and honestly, this is a very good solution because you spend less time and effort thinking and more time and effort working.
Yeah. So,
My audio
setup
did you
made
have
from
anything?
stuff lying
Oh.
around. It's not even airtight. It just pretends to be a real speaker. Oh, so they just like made a speaker box, I guess.
They made a speaker box?
Have you seen the picture? Look at the picture. I truly can't describe it.
If I were to look at this, I would not know what I was looking at if I didn't know it was a speaker.
What do you mean? You'd know that was a speaker. It's got the little like thing on the front that looks like a speaker.
Yeah, but
If this
You think
looked
that looks like-
slightly better, if it didn't look like you'd cut this wood with your teeth, I would say this isn't even a sin. Kind of a fire hazard, yeah, definitely a fire hazard.
also one is did they run off the wood for the right side? Why is there?
Right? Why is it a post-it note?
It's just some paper.
Yeah, this is incredible. At least you know what you've done. You know, I believe in you. Find God. Okay. Is this one yours?
I was programming a project, and because I needed libs from multiple languages, I built 3 services, different languages, different ORMs, but all using the same database. All went well until requirements changed. I used DrawSQL to update the database and manually tweaked the ORM entries. It worked for a while, but as the schema kept changing, everything started breaking because my logic depended directly on those ORM classes. Every tweak was a disaster causing more disasters. Lesson learned, never tie your Apple logic directly to ORM generated classes. You will become schizo having to rewrite it all.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Well, you know, they learned their lesson. They knew what they did wrong. And I think that means I can pardon them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nice.
I use C# with pointers and unsafe utility malloc for Unity. The only thing I regret is using Unity. Honestly, using C# with pointers is based. Using unsafe utility malloc is based. Using it with Unity is kind of weird. But just using the utility in and of itself is based. The only thing I regret is using Unity. That's very not based. That's cringe. That's a thumbs down from me.
Do you really hate Unity that much?
No, I was saying that's a thumbs down for them because they said they regret using Unity.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Like, what's wrong with Unity, man? It's a pretty good engine. I don't know. Like I haven't used either of them with the kind of like depth that I would need to have like a solid opinion on it, but I've used Unity and I've used Unreal, and both seemed pretty reasonable for what I was using them for. I didn't really have any problems with either. You work in Unity quite a bit, right?
Yeah, most of what I do is in Unity.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, when you were talking earlier about Arduino and being overly attached to Arduino, like I felt like splash damage because I thought about my situation with Unity, my relationship with
that's
Unity,
not the same.
because it's really similar. I know it's not the same. I know it's not the same.
I wouldn't consider those similar at all. Okay. Dear Encapsulation, I know I should heed thy advice and not stray into lands barred to me, but pointers have captured my heart, and I cannot resist thy pull. Sincerely, Esco Mavith. Context. This was for a class assignment. I couldn't use the library for min-heap, so I hacked one together by writing custom sorting function for priority queue, which automatically sorts upon insert, and stored the values as pointers so that I could modify the underlying data, which is normally not allowed. I also don't have access to the code anymore, so I quickly wrote this while watching the stream, so I don't have any idea if it works. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. We'll take that into consideration and assume that the one that you are referencing originally worked.
So this is they submitted some C++ code, and there's just a random Dijkstra's algorithm here.
Yeah.
I think this is my arch nemesis.
Why?
I hate data structures and algorithms so much.
Wait, that's not what I would have expected. You're a good dev. Why would you hate them?
Because I never use them. The only reason why they exist is to cause me problems during interviews. That's the only reason why they exist.
Incredible.
I never use them. That's the only problem. So that's the only reason why they exist. So yeah, well, looking at this, like my immediate instinct is flight.
Yeah.
Looking at this code. Apparently, this is weird here. They say that the arrow operator is incorrect. Isn't the arrow operator just dereferencing the object
Yeah, I would have
and
thought so.
and not? Yeah. But yeah, this is just Dijkstra's.
Yeah, I don't know. They did in fact hack together a min-heap for the purposes of writing a sorting function for a priority queue, and I think that's fine. However,
not much you have to say here.
yeah.
I think this next one is yours.
Sure. Not mine, but I had to address it. The ground wire being used as a phase wire, the plug hanging open, the rest of the entire cabinet. The cabinet of doom. Oh. I'm opening it now. Let's see. Oh, okay. So first of all, it's just, there's that. How is that even working? How is that even providing any power? Okay, so then let's look over here. The ground wire being used as a phase wire, the plug hanging open, the rest of the entire cabinet. Yeah, okay, so awful. Yeah, I mean, it's bad. I don't know what you want me to say. I've never seen one this bad. Delicious spaghetti. They've made us spaghetti for dinner. This gives me a lot of anxiety. Just like the plug just hanging open.
Yeah, the planging plug.
Yeah, that's the thing that's the part of this that feels to me like it leads most directly to disaster. But yeah, all of this is bad. All of this is quite bad.
Is this like?
It's
Doesn't
not
this
even
break
theirs.
some safety violations?
Yeah, it's definitely a
Doesn't-
safety violation. Quite dangerous. So wait, where
Yeah.
was this? Where did they find it from? Was this did they just Google like bad tech problem? Or was this like someone's
It
like
looks
this was their
official, yeah, it
school
looks-
or something? Like where
It
was
looks like
this?
it does look like one of those electrical boxes that you'd find, but you wouldn't be able to open them, right? If you were like if it was something official, like you wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
open it because it would be locked.
So it was someone who had access. Oh, reverse image search it? Well, not during the stream. So anyway, do you want the next one?
Yep, we have a system at work that tracks when tools are loaded. I wanted to access that data so I could track if obsolete versions were still being used. And instead of talking to the IT department to get access to the data, I just reverse engineered the tool loading code, found the credentials for the database, and pulled the data from them directly. I don't think you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, that seems
think,
like a major issue.
I don't think you're allowed to do that. The fact that you reverse engineered the tool loading code, so that was they stored credentials in there. I guess there was no other way around it. If they pushed updates to the database, they must have had. But surely they could have restricted that to only updates,
Yeah.
right? Instead of reading everything from the database as well.
Yeah, this seems like a security issue. But I don't know. I mean, it wasn't your security issue. Like you're not the one who designed that. So, I don't know. So, okay. I work in QA and Java is my day job language. I learned on the job, so there were times I've committed the following atrocities. To attach log output to test results and not deal with matching logs to tests, I extended the logger class, stripped the default ANSI coloring of the logs, and stored all strings in memory until the tests end. Only later did
That
I
is
learn
so
about
funny.
proper logging configuration and the way to save logs to files using the logger's capabilities. Incredible.
That is incredibly funny.
To rerun multiple individually failed JUnit tests located in different classes in IntelliJ IDEA, I hacked together a runner class that accepted a list of class name test name strings and then used reflection to resolve the actual test method, which got put into an annotation. The idea was to make rerunning tests as simple as possible for other manual engineers. This was an interesting exercise at the very least.
That's the most cursed thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I don't even fully understand how this works. Wait. Runner class that accepted a list and then used reflection to solve the actual test method.
Why
Yeah, why
weren't all
just...
of the other classes runner classes?
Yeah,
What?
that's what I'm wondering.
Like you would make the class itself a runner class instead of having one runner class that runs.
Oh. Okay. Since there are cases where an SSH session could end due to timeout or inactivities, I had to use reflection to update SSH session data in Apache DBCP2DB connection pool because there is no other way to update it without destroying the whole pool and all the connections. Well, wait, okay. You had to use reflection to update the SSH data. I mean... Should they be sharing that pool? I don't think they should be, right? Like, that should be kind of per test, shouldn't it?
I don't think this is the test stuff. I think that was the previous line.
Oh, okay.
I think
Wait, so-
this was their actual app because the SSH connection would the timeout, and they couldn't reconnect to the DB unless they completely recreated the connection, destroying the pool.
Okay.
So they just used reflection to.
But they're a QA engineer. Almost all of this should be tests.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
To compare multiple nested class objects to each other while skipping some of the fields, I have now replaced implementation of all equals methods to relevant DTO with reflection-based utility method. I also have to rerun the comparison a couple times to get pretty output in case values of some fields are not the same as expected. I'm still waiting for the delay when I will be able to remove the collections.sort methods out of the customized equals. Wait, what? The sin is not mine, thankfully. customized equals. So, wait. There aren't existing equals functions on these objects. So you wrote like a universal one?
So they replaced the equals method on the DTOs with a reflection-based utility method.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to skip some of the fields. I assume that, this is Java, right? So
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly how this works in Java, but usually if you wanted to do something like that, you would have a separate method for this. You wouldn't replace equals. And if for example, you are working with something that expected equals to implement that. So for example, if you're using, I don't know, a dictionary or something, or a list that was sorting, then you would pass in a custom equality compare, I guess. Yeah, providing a custom compare, exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of overriding equals.
Yeah. Odd. Okay. Well, they're learning. Oh, this one is taking forever to load, and I don't know why. Is my stream and everything okay, or is it just that this was like taking a really long time to load? Okay.
Load it for me.
Using the car battery charger to charge a $200 modem because a friend asked me to jailbreak it, but I forgot to give me the charger that had enough amps, so I had to just cut the wire and use jumpers to charge it.
Using jumpers for a modem?
Honestly, Based, I'm fine with this.
You're fine with this, but you weren't fine with all of the other battery shenanigans?
Yeah, this is fine.
Okay.
Because it's a car battery charger, it's not a car battery. Yeah, 12 volts is 12 volts, my friends.
I've always been the go-to software guy. I'm always the one who makes Discord bots, Minecraft mods, and little video games for friends.
Is this
For
you?
my first real... yeah, probably, so far. For my first real electronics project, I'm currently making a moving robot with little wheels that moves in sand, effectively an RC car. I'm the only one in the three of us who knows any electronics at all, and Dunning-Kruger affected myself into thinking I knew more than I did. Instead of buying a pre-made motor hat for my Raspberry Pi, I decided to wire up two motor controllers to my Raspberry Pi. They needed at least 6.5 volts to work, and the Pi needed 5. I wired up boost converters out of my 5V converters to step up
Why would you
to
do
8 volts into the motor controller and connect it to the prototype board. This is the setup that lost me $45 and 3 Raspberry Pis.
Why would you do it like that?
Placed in a photo.
Okay, currently 18 as of writing and been programming for 5 years, started soldering on and off, but mostly off 1 year ago. Okay, for future reference, my friend, for future reference, you would rarely want to run it like you could just run the power separately from your power source to both of these places. You don't have to run it through the Pi and then to the motors.
Honestly, this sounds like something I would do.
What? Better than stacking a bunch of diodes? But that's not... Just because you can think of a worse way to do something doesn't mean... Anyway.
$45 isn't much for a quality learning opportunity. That's what I'm saying.
Know,
The
when you're
Raspberry Pi is
18
cheap.
though, that's not cheap. Okay, this one's yours, I think.
Are you sure?
Oh, okay, I'll take it. Forgive me, engineers, for I have sinned. I would preface this by saying I was young and don't remember all the details. For context, I learned to scrap PCs before knowing how to build them, and I would sell them for parts. As for my sin, we once had a school project to make, and my first idea was making a laser, but I had no budget, and lasers are expensive and are somewhat regulated. Anyway, I had an older PC! Oh my god! And I decided to scrap the CD reader. Obviously, this was very dumb and dangerous, but thankfully, I broke the diode disassembling everything. But my sin gets worse. After throwing away my young mind thought there might be another laser inside the drive. I started unscrewing the hard drive of this old PC and struggling to get it open the cover. I ended up bending it to see what there was inside. That there was only a disc. What a surprise. I felt very dumb and quickly bent it back into position and screwed everything back, covering my shame. I hope my sin of butchery may be forgiven. But if you have time for another sin, and I'll try and make it short. Years later, I was working on a computer and wanted to edit the Windows icon for something. I don't remember. Anyway, they were all stored in a DLL inside the System 32. Yes, I dared touch Sys 32. Fast forward after the PC restarted, and of course, it didn't restart and was bricked for me having touched what shouldn't have been touched. What happened is that instead of copying System 32 to back it up, I moved it. Thankfully, I had a bootable external drive and just booted in command line and moved System 32 back and never touched it again. Please forgive me for this cardinal Windows sin. Thank you for your time, dear engineers. May your workshop be blessed with bountiful duct tapes.
One question I have about the second one, about the Windows thing. How do you move System 32?
I mean,
I don't think even with admin privileges, I don't think you can move System 32. Even with admin.
I don't
even
know.
If you take own.
I've never
I think
tried.
even if you take own.
Yeah, well, I guess if you were to make it so that you owned it and then move it, you could, right?
If you could on XP. I know, but you can't even take ownership of the system files.
Oh,
Depends
interesting.
on
I
your
didn't
version
know
of
that.
Windows. Okay.
I've never tried. I've never tried to chown the frickin' system files. Wait, why have you?
Why have I? I don't remember. Oh no, honestly.
Also,
but I
question,
remember the
do
Windows
you
files
say
being
chown
protected.
or chown now that we've been talking about these things?
I've never. This is something that I haven't put any thought in at all, actually.
You've never
but
said it.
the first answer, I've never said it out loud. Probably CHON.
I would say chown. But that's
You would say
just me.
CHON?
Yeah.
CHON, because you're basically, it's the command for, the main
Yeah,
part
it's-
of it is own. And the main part is
Yeah,
like,
you're changing
CHON,
ownership.
you're-
Yeah. Chmod? Okay, I kind of want to say that I say chmod, but I don't. I say chmod.
So then CHMod and CHON.
I see your logic, but I do say chone, at least in my head. I don't know. Chmod. Okay, onward.
Back in high school, I made a shitty painting program in the web browser using JavaScript and HTML. Very good job, very
Yeah.
based. When implementing canvas movement, scaling, and transition, I found that I needed to convert viewpoint space into canvas space. This was in high school. But being a high schooler, I didn't know anything about coordinate space or matrices. So instead of doing a few matrix multiplications like I would now, I spent several hours brute forcing it until it worked. Attached
Oh my
is a small
gosh.
snippet of code from the render loop.
Doka Kaiko! Thank you so much for the prime sub! Okay, I'm
Honestly,
downloading it. I'm getting it. I'm retrieving.
doing this in high school.
Yeah, I'm just impressed.
Even and without matrix multiplications and stuff. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Honestly, yeah, this code is not that cursed considering. Like, yeah, you could do this more efficiently with matrix math, but nah, this is fine, man.
Give me a second, please.
Where's he going?
I need to stay hydrated.
I don't understand. I don't understand. Well, hi, chat. We're having fun, I think. I love these streams. I've been like actually thinking about how I hope we do another
You
one. after
think?
this. Huh?
You think?
What-
You love these streams? You think?
No, I was saying I think that we should do another one maybe at some point.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't saying I think I love these streams.
I just went to go grab a glass of water.
I don't know. I just really love this. This is one of the sorry, my words. We've been reading so much. This is one of my favorite stream concepts that I've like done. I think this is one of the most fun streams that I've done. And we've done 2 of them, and I think that maybe we could do another one at some point too, if you wanted.
I would definitely want that.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, so not a sin. You did a really good job considering that you didn't have like matrix math to help you out. And it's impressive that you did all of this at all in high school. So yeah, no, not a sin. Okay. Oops, realized I never actually submitted this. Well, if it's too late, it's too late. I'll share it now in case the idea ever comes back. Years ago, my laptop broke in a way that at the time I didn't know how to fix, so I sent it to the company to be repaired. Unfortunately, when it was sent back, the company forgot to tighten the screws on the bottom. Even more unfortunate, I didn't have a screwdriver or Allen wrench that worked on it, so I just tightened it as much as it could by hand and then covered the holes with Scotch tape.
Is to change the documentation to match
As you can imagine, this wasn't good for the laptop, and over time, the casing started to break. What did I do? I held it together with more Scotch tape. Granted, in my defense, I did use duct tape at first, but considering for often the table worn out, but considering how often the table wore out, I guess, I started using how often the tape wore out? I think that's what they were trying to type. I started using whatever tape was on hand, which was primarily Scotch tape. Anyway, I eventually got a new laptop and gave the old one to my brother with strict instructions on how to keep it in one piece that he promptly ignored. Now the poor thing is barely holding together. Unfortunately, I'm not home to take a picture of the laptop. Why wouldn't you just get an Allen key? Like I understand initially you didn't have one, but by the time you were giving it to your brother, why wouldn't you just be like, hey bro, here's like a free laptop. All you need is an Allen key.
So here's what I think, right? It's like when you're working in a company for a while and then you move on from that company, you know, maybe you quit, maybe you get fired, and then all of the technical debt that was on your shoulders, you know, you pass it on to the next person. It's no longer your responsibility or your worry.
But it's your brother. You should care for your brother. So
At that point, it was kind of late to use the Allen key, no? At that point.
what? What did you miss your window? What, are you just doomed to have a terrible laptop forever now? So, since our priest an angel like my previous sin, I'm grateful to extend my story. After the 1.3 RPM 4 servers API accident, as a guy who was responsible for interaction between data science and development teams, I was in conflict with both. Devs were annoyed that they had to do API calls and background jobs, and data scientists were annoyed even before that because I was trying to force them to write code that I can import as a module, sadly unsuccessfully. I couldn't manually rewrite the model code since I didn't have it, but the API had to be optimized in some way or my job security would be in danger. And since I couldn't do anything with both sides, I ended up writing the cursest thing ever. I was overriding some torch file operation functions like torch load with custom implementations by manually manipulating the AST that were keeping the files in memory across multiple processes and transferring them through TCP since it was faster than loading them from the disk every time, almost 20 times the execution speed. I know that this is a sin, but also a necessary evil. Please forgive me. I wouldn't do it ever again. I use C# now anyway. I don't have access to the code base anymore, so I've written a simplified version of what was going on in the API server.
How is it faster through TCP than actually reading it from?
How is it possible?
From disk?
What's wrong? What's wrong with your disk that it's slower than TCP?
Bro, still using floppy drives or something. I don't know.
Yeah, must be. Oh, hi, Minnie! We love Minnie.
Oh, hello, Minnie.
Oh my god. Well,
I failed to see how it's faster through TCP. Like, even taking anything into account, I just don't understand how that's possible. TCP is not over the network.
Even so, how could that possibly be faster than just like you already have it? Either floppy drive or it was just too much in read from other tasks. That could be possible, I guess. TCP comms were unused, so yeah, now they're not. I don't know, man. If you say it was faster, I believe you. I wasn't there, but this is a nightmare. Okay, I've been working on a combat robot, and I have to print the body in 2 pieces, so I figured the easiest way to connect the 2 pieces was with dovetails. Yes, I use Tinkercad. Oh god, what am I about to see? Okay, so you can improve these basic dovetails a few ways. I don't think this is the worst thing I've ever seen, right? However, there are better ways to do this, right? When you're considering that ultimately you're going to be either plastic welding these or just using an adhesive, right? Like an acrylate or something. there are much better ways to do this. So just drawing it across the surface, not the best plan. So I would probably narrow the bottoms of my dovetails, right, so that they're cupped. Cupped dovetails are going to be better. Now you can't do that with something like a laser cut design, but if you're 3D printing it, totally possible and a good solution, and will give you a little bit more stability. Anyway, I guess the sin is that you're using Tinkercad, and I do acknowledge that that is a sin.
What's wrong with Tinkercad? I use Tinkercad as well.
Why?
It was the only and the easiest thing I had. Like, I had to model something very, very quickly. I
will
did
send you
that.
some suggestions after stream. Tinkercad is extremely limited and a little bit hard to use. Is, I guess, how I would describe how it's bad. It's also pretty slow for what it's capable of, so...
Yeah, I mean, I've only done, like, some very basic, a handful of models because our 3D modeler was away and they couldn't be bothered to, like, help us.
Yeah.
So I had to take the lead there. And Tinkercad was great when I used it.
Well, I guess if you're building very, very simple things in it, there's nothing specifically wrong with it. Yeah, FreeCAD, Onshape, the hobby trial of Fusion 360. Yeah, no, that you have plenty of options. Blender is also not always a bad option. It's not really for CAD, but you can do. It's at least more flexible than Tinkercad, for example. You know.
Okay.
So, Lehman's, I just suggested. What more do you want from me? Learning curve is steep? Yeah, listen, if you're doing something that Tinkercad can do, maybe it's fine. Yeah, Fusion 360 is going to be probably your best free or near free option, depending on what you're doing with it. But at the end of the day, you're fine. Oh, sorry, no, my bad, not your bad. What?
I tried using Fusion 360 once, and I couldn't figure out anything for the life of me.
We could do a stream together. We could build something together in it if you wanted to learn.
3D modeling is one of my phobias.
Why is it a phobia?
It's more like trauma and less like phobia. It's more like trauma and less like phobia. You know, it's caused by the past events, my past failures, my total hours wasted.
We could move past it together. I could guide you through these dark valleys
of 3D modeling.
Mm-hmm.
We can. I'll think about it. How about that? It is
Okay.
a very big undertaking for me.
Up to you, man. Up to you. But I would love to make you less afraid of this. Okay.
All right.
There's not
Next
even
one,
anything.
there's-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
All
No.
right, skip. So no, it says there's not even anything particular. It's just Haskell, and they have some Haskell code that I don't understand.
Yeah, neither of us is gonna understand Haskell.
Yeah. All right, next one. Very short one. I tried to trip a breaker by shorting the circuit. It did disconnect the circuit, all right, but it did so by blowing the old school fuse. You did this in school?
I think they mean the old school fuse, like the old fashioned fuse.
Okay.
They cut power to their whole school. Wait, that's so good. That's so good.
For a moment there, okay. Blowing the old school fuse that protected the entire building. Oh, luckily only a single family house. Okay. So I had to change that and made the family head a bit angry at me. Yeah, for a moment I thought I heard school. I was like, damn, you did what in school?
No, I've
What if
seen
it was
these before.
a single family house?
I've seen these. In certain old houses, the fuse will be like an actual fuse, and like it's insane, dude. Like, have you ever seen like old fuses, old fuse boxes?
I know. I only know about new ones and how they work and everything. I don't know anything about old fuses.
Dude,